Voices in motion.
Where voices find direction.
Voices in motion.
Where stories create connection.
Voices in motion.
Connection that grows into action.
Voices in motion.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening.
You're listening.
You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.
Voices in motion.
This segment is powered by Grado School Management System. Smarter systems, smarter schools. Connect with Grado at 𝗓𝗓𝗘𝗓, on Facebook at fb.com/onlinegrado, or email them at info@𝗓𝗓𝗘𝗓. Also brought to you by Genevieve Del Rosario, Peniel Dormitory, the Cozy Cup Cafe, Mr. and Mrs. Nate Del Rosario Jr., Melvina Villases, and Merle Don Acol. Special thanks to 𝗓𝗢𝗖𝗘, Precious Jane Denura, Jerome Montecalvo, Anakin Skywalker Pactores, Ernest Busalpa, Daphne Sara Simo, Worko Co-working and Study Cafe Davao, Chick Chiffon, and Rabbit Cosplay Shop. In partnership with Dugong Anthro, United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary District 1, Student Christian Movement of the Philippines UP Mindanao, UP Legal Studies Society, Ampli UP Mindanao, Kappa Epsilon Fraternity and Sorority UP Mindanao, UP Mindanao Communicators Guild, and the UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Maraming salamat dahil sa tuloy-tuloy ninyong suporta. Tuloy-tuloy din ang kwento dito sa Radyo Iskolar. Voices in Motion.
Hinto muna dilaw, maganda na pwede. Let's 1, 2, 3, go! Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, batas trapiko, sundan pa'y kay likas ng Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, sa tamang kalsada dapat ton lang ang ruta. Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, disiplina'y tagday para sa bawat sakay. Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, sumunod sa batas, maraming buhay ay maliligtas.
Voices in motion.
Where voices find direction.
Voices in motion.
Where stories create connection.
Voices in motion.
Connection that grows into action.
Voices in motion.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening.
You're listening.
You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.
Voices in motion.
Mayong buntag Davao, mayong buntag UP Mindanao. Ako si Zoe, ug kauban ako karon si
Alia! At ito ang programang kung saan non-stop ang mga istoryang babalik-balikan dito sa ating tambayan. Ito ang Rated KKK! As in, kanya-kanyang kwento! Gikan sa Radyo Iskolar nga ready kaayo mohatag kaninyo og panibagong lami nga chika ug gimmick karong adlaw.
speaking of lami, aliyam rag, lami ka ikaw ng pizza, burger, fries,
Yes.
mga panahon na, no? Kabalat mga friends ba? Labi na ka ng dul-dul na katpusan sa itong Hell Week.
Yes.
Final season. Ug syempre sa first semester na to for this academic year. I mean, that's something to celebrate with good food and good company, di ba?
True zone. Lami gud kaayo igawas karon ay tas magkaon-kaon, maglaag-laag. Pero ang saon taman oy, akong wallet murag dili jud siya gusto makisama, and as much as I want to, pet sa di peligro jud kaayo ron te. mao nang itlog-itlog o dila tara gid ato ang pang-celebrate karon pero di ba good food man Japon.
Ay, oo. Pero, bitaw, Ali, no? Like, kasi yung mga nga na moments na kapusjud ta, and I think, daghan pong ubandara ka naka-experience. Labi na for those that are living the adult life.
Yes, the adult life.
Similar sa ato, nga mga college students, living independently sa ilang mga dorms.
Exactly. Pero before nato i-continue ni atong chikahan ron zono, storyahan sa jud nato unsa ba jud ning pet sa di peligro na atong ginayaw-yaw gaing na pa.
So, kaning pizza di peligro, mani siya ka na ganing time pag ka ng kapus or pahurutay na tong kwarta. Kasagaran, kini siya ka ng adlaw nga padulungan na ko ng payday. Matapos sa bulan, tinud kini siya ay sa sabot na sa ka mga yanong katawhan ra good.
Yes.
So, na ay payday padulong mauna sa ang
Danger Days.
before ta magkaog lami, mukhaon sa tag.
Lami gud gyapon, di ba?
I guess lami. Pero kanang lami gud siya mapambalay ra usa, like munggo, sardinas, miswa unsa ba.
Bitaw no, like what if mag-kidney check sa tadirang dapita, like padaghanay sa tagikaon ng mga dilata or mga kape jud dira na unya base ang ubang tao dira ang ihi nila girl basig baho na nag-quit siya.
Ay, quick, bawo siya quick job.
Yes, base di ba no, what if. Pero going back zone no, na now that you've explained it, Day, na siguro mas daghan na dira sa atong mga listeners ang mas makarelate o reflect sa ilang mga pet sa di peligro moments. Pero sige daw, like speaking of relate zone no, mag-share sa daw tab of more of our experience ano kay ako daghan jud kog machika about ani kay na remember na ako every time pet sa di peligro jud day maka-walk out ton jud kog ahate. Yes, biglang naging fitness girly ang ate mo. Pero naadyo to'y time nagikan kog dorm paadtog palengke ako agad siyang gibaktas under the scorching sun te. Yes, scorching sun jud day kay ni na ko mapalit og tambal unya akong kwarta gitipidra jud na ako na siya pampalit og tambal og pagkaon no. Unya napod na mga adlaw na gikan kog dorm mobaktas ko paadto og pauli sa campus. Unya hagod jud siya sa ako ang part.
Pag-uwi ko layo, best tong ano no.
Yes. Unya especially sa ako dali ra jud kay ko hangakon day. Unya ka ng mga tao dira na nagstrava-strava daw ko no, fitness pero ang tinuod na miligro ra jud di ay.
Yes, it day. Grabe jud pag mabutay ning Danger Days.
Danger Days.
Dira pag di mo under tong pagka-imaginative.
Yes.
Pangitan nagparaan ba kung unsang naaga at the moment. Kasi pagkakot sa pagkaon. Like,
Yes.
usahay, sinigang hotdog. Egg soup ko nuhay, pero wala na kwarta. Poach, egg assistant. Kaya ba niya nga naman? Sa padala sa mama.
Yes.
Na party list gid saya.
Oh
So,
yes.
pero ako, Aliyah, like, sa tinuod lang, akong pizza di peligro, every few days, bago ang kinsinas, dyan na siya, maabot kay, agad na magkusweldo sa akong kuya, kay
Same.
kabalo ka, kuya, breadwinner, ako, bread loser.
Grabe sa bread loser day.
So, pag first week of the month, akong lunch kay, kare-kare pa na lots of links with 2 rice. 2 rice.
2 rice,
na.
dito, day.
Pero pag 10 o 14 na gani, mga pinangayong hungit na lang na.
Tama.
Kasi, sabat ko yan.
Tama, pero grabe jud yung mga ingani na moments na to no, like memorable jud kayo siya para sa tuak. Tapos lahi-lahi jud tag mga tricks aron malagpasan lang ang mga ingani na adlaw. Pero speaking of tips and tricks, Day, curious pud ko about sa mga pamamaraan upod sa uban nga ga-adulting o parehas nato na college students na taga moabutay ang pet sa di peligro. Like, unsa kay lang mga experiences ani no?
Well, since you've mentioned it, Ali, no, and nag-share naman punta karon, let's call on our 2 guests for today. Aron sa Bayan ta, sa atong chika, o syempre makashare po sila sa ilang mga
Danger Days!
na experiences, diskarte sa mga nga panahon na, gapil na po ng mga advice nila para sa ato. And with that, please welcome the newly elected convener of the UP Mindanao Sports Alliance, 𝗥𝗓𝗓𝗘, and of course, an icon sa Bakma community, or should I say,
Bakma community lang ba dyan?
UP Mindanao, past, present, and future girl, the one and only 𝗘𝗣𝗓𝗘. So, hello guys!
So, welcome Ate Chloe! At Kuya Rex! So, thank you so much sa pag-accept sa mong invite karon no na makachika na mo ron here sa Rated KKK as in
Kanya-kanyang kwento! kwento.
Yes, pero before we start, no, would you like to introduce yourself sa ating mga listeners?
So, good day to everyone, no? I am Rex Ruiz from 4BSS, currently the newly elected na sports convener ng Sports Alliance of UP Mindanao and a table tennis varsity player.
Wow! So, atong icon here.
Icon, oy!
Icon Jete!
UP Mindanao! It's me, I'm back. It's she, they, 𝗘𝗣𝗓𝗘, your icon. Hi! Declare!
icon!
Tanaw. Kakagraduate ko lang last July 2025. So, fresh grad lang dun. And then, kuan ko work, guys. Ano lang.
Wow!
Stella.
Congratulations!
Currently, I'm a legislative researcher. Legislative
Wow.
researcher.
Big
And
word!
community organizer sa Sangguniang Panlungsod ng Davao.
Wow! So, ayun no, like, thank you kayo sa pag-introduce sa yourself, guys. Pero pansin yun na ako sa inyo both is somehow living independently na, no? And si Ate Chloe, fresh grad, tapos go-work na karon and again, living independently. And ikaw, Kuya Rex, is living alone sa dorm ni mo, away from your family for college. So, first and foremost, matanong ko lang, guys, na ever since ba nag-live mo as a college student o as someone nag-support sa imong self kay fresh grad, Ate Chloe, no? Tapos
Yeah.
go-work na. Nakasulay ba jud mo og pet sa di peligro na mga moments o can you tell us an unforgettable na mga experiences ninyo ani na if you look back jud no na makaingon jud mo grabe jud kayang kalisod tong panahona na to.
Actually, madami, of course, na ang daming experiences, especially sa mga kagaya ko dyan na mga student athlete, no? Very relatable na.
Yes.
Like, after training, kapoy kaayo, gutom, pero walay kwarta. So, madaming moments, no? Like, to the point na nagpapastila lang kahit hindi naman siya yung kailangan ng body.
Pastel jud savior.
Oo. And then, kasi may mga relate din ako na kapwa student athletes na late yung allowance
Yes.
from sabihin na natin mga scholarship or di kaya university allowance, no? Late na receive. So, may mga times and moments na kulang kaayo yung nutrition na among need. Like to the point na naikokauban or naikokailan na competition days, tas jud siya kaon to sa first day ng competition.
First day sa competition walay kaon.
Oo.
Oh
Pero,
my gosh.
tapos niyatag na ang allowance, second day na. And surprisingly, naka-cheque pa.
Agay, kana lang. Gutom na ka, palisdan pa ka pangitaon sa kwarta.
So,
Naday,
oo.
iton ko lang chiki ba?
So, niadto sila to sa bangko. Afternoon na to. So, imagine almost a day siyang walang kain. Pero okay lang, daog man siya.
Ay,
Wow, grabe. Pero
Oo.
to think about it, dili man to niya deserve, no? Kaya ang ginadala ba niya ang name sa university, tapos
True.
at the least na the university can do is para maghatag jud ka na kung sa deserve niya na nutrients ug kanang murag allowance para
On time.
on time girl, on time para makakaon po. So-
And also, lastly, share ko lang din yung isa sa mga ginawa ko before na kasi Friday na siya tapos I need to extend yung 300 pesos until Sunday. So, diba, like, so isipin mo, bali 100 per day. Hala, paano kaya ayun magkakasya?
Yes.
Kita na kung 2007 pang panahon.
Siguro ako 2007 kasya pa,
Diba?
pero 2025 na.
Tapos, if you
Oo.
think about it, ang 100 mo, like, 1 meal lang, di ba, niya
Mm-mm.
for morning, or lunch
Oo.
mo.
Kaso,
Swerte ka, 50-50.
Gani.
oo, kaso 'di ba, very demanding kasi sa mga athletes yung kumain, especially after training. So, ang ginawa ko is bumili ako ng ingredients for sinigang. Then nagluto lang ako sa dorm. Tapos binenta ko siya sa mga kakilala ko, sa mga classmates ko.
Wai.
Grabe, wait.
Na-extend ko yung food up, meron ako sa self, tapos napatubo ko siya into 450. So, kinaya na to.
Sorry.
Light na lang, nagluto kong ka, tapos di pa ning ulit.
Ibalik yan sa
Balik.
ovan.
Oo.
Ang imuhang konsumo na lang dyan dito day, ang amoy na lang dyan sa imong
Amoy.
giluto.
Kay dagan na maligya to ako na time kay daghan to sa baw, so ganahan man sila to that time. Tapos around bare months na to, so Yeah, the cuddle weather. So,
Cuddle
masarap
weather.
ang sabaw.
Tabaho. Tama.
Ayan.
So, sa mga friends na po ni mo
Oo.
benta-benta.
Hopefully, tumulong naman sila. Nabudol ko sila.
Yes. Ikaw, Ate Chloe.
Okay lang, go
sorry.
lang.
New name.
Oo.
Chloe.
So ayun, kung pet siya di peligro lang manggod ang storyahan. Diyos ko danas dyan na siya dahil.
Yes.
Relatable jud kaayo katong giingon niya Rex na magpastil na lang sa una no. Kay bisag karon kay sometimes magpastil na lang jud ko sa trabaho kay tag-20 lang man siya sa gawa.
Kaya nagtrabaho na pero nakapastil
Pastil gyapon.
gyapon.
Oo, kay sa una manggod tong first few months of my employment. Oy, employment.
Wow!
Super naman sa pabalik-balik. So, ano jud to like wait, July to August, September, delayed jud akong sweldo like wala ko sa dato nga time. So pastilan na lang jud ang bili na lang
Pastilan.
pastilan na lang jud. Kaya ang kwarta na ko nagigamit ato kay nagapadala pa sila mama. Ulaw kaayo magpadala pa
Yes.
sila 1K per week or per 10 days. Sorry. Salamat kayo mother and father
Yes.
and family. Pero mao to siya and sometimes na lang jud kay makapasalamat na lang ka sa kalibutan. Kay
Kibutan.
naa kay mga amigo nga pwede nimo mahulman og kwarta. Kato jud ako
Yes.
unforgettable kay delayed akong sweldo tapos may na lang jud kay naa ko'y mahulman og kwarta. Hulman na lang kay murag ulaw ay mo ingon og utang
Utang.
no. Pero kada na lang. Oo, unforgettable jud siya for me kay kanang every month na lang kay magulat kasi mong sweldo. Every month pod ka maghulam
Wala.
og kwarta.
Gani,
So
wala
magkanang
mo, day.
oh my god, ulaw na jud kaayo. So may na lang kato nakadawat ako og sweldo kay bayad-bayad po og utang.
Oo,
Kay kanang
hurot mo
magbayad
na.
jud tag utang kay dili ta magaya ni
Charis.
Charis. So auto
Thou
siya.
shall not be named.
Yeah.
Ano kay ma-enjoy mo first sweldo ba kay bayad inyong utang?
Maugani. Lord. Anyway, let us talk about it in other times.
Yes! Siyempre, pag pizza ni Piligger na, pinaka-apektuhan dyan na, no? Kaya pangamon.
Yes.
Pastilan na dyan. na lang yun.
So, Mugawas yun na sa itong pagka-chef, like Chef Gordon Ramsay,
Ratatouille?
like Remy man to.
Remy, sorry.
Or like Chef Boy Logro, day, kinay man dito, day. So, mugawas itong pagka-imaginative sa mga pagkaon.
Mhm.
Sa nalibilin nga lutuon, or sa'yo mahimong dito ang mathematics siya.
Albert Einstein level na ni Day, kay pangingitaan, dyan mo pamaagi dyan para po sa mag-fit imong kwarta.
Oo, basta nagbago dahil kay panamlikayan lang ang math. Math, manitay nga ni Gay gihapon. Mag-discuss sa paliliton or kung sa'y anang adlaw lang. So, ikaw Kuya Rex, nakasulay na ba kaning chef moment? Nga, bis nga, unsa na lang dyan lutuon ba kay kanang maningkamot jud ka sa unsay naa na lang.
Of course naman, syempre, relatable yon. May times na nangyari yun. Pero, syempre, ang cause nun is ako din. So, sorry to my
Yes.
parents. Enough po yung talaga yung baon ko. Ako talaga ang gastos dito.
Same, relate ka na.
Pero yun, going back, siguro ang pinaka-bizarre is may point na super nagtipid ako na yung 100 pesos, pinambili ko ng ingredients ng pastil. Ako yung gumawa. And then, na-extend ko siya into 4 days.
Oo.
Kaya siya, like, mamalit lang mo chicken breast na worth 80 pesos, tapos yung 20 pesos condiments na yon na kung anong gusto mo.
Grabe ganun. Pwede na ka mag-karinderya.
Oo, tapos, mamalit na lang ko rice, every time na magkaon ko, like 2 rice or 20 pesos, tapos, kamay na, 1 spoon ng pastil, okay na to. Yun nga. So, minsan din may times na boiled egg, no? Sinasabay ko siya sa pagsaing ng rice para maluto.
Yes, staple. Save your
oo.
itlog.
Kaya diba, pag wala kang oil, boil mo na lang, okay na yan. Same
tama.
lang. Maghalo din naman yan sa chan mo, okay na yan.
Exactly.
Pa joy.
Yes.
Ayun.
Tapos, di ba, need man ninyo na as an athlete ka ng mga itlog, protein, tama, di ba?
So
Protein.
parang ano na lang din namin, iniisip na lang namin, ay, maganda naman protein tong boiled egg, so okay na to.
Ano?
Nangita jud ka naman. Yung kinalagi
Gaslight,
Oo, sa gabi gaslight. Sorry sa mga prof namin na nagturo sa amin ng nutrition.
Pero, may ganit dito, no? Kaya wala na yung gibaligya imong pastil, tapos imong giloto, kaya para na kasi mong sarili.
Kaya hindi na siya nakakaya ng konsensya ko na baligya ko pa siya kasi gamay na lang dun siya. So, very
tama.
risky ito. Pero yung sinigang, if gusto nyo, char, gusto nyo, mamalit na lang kayo sa gawas, dilin ako.
niyo Ate Chloe, like, kung saan, like, pinaka-bizarre na pagkain niya yung mga invento.
As
Well-
someone na karon na nag-work na support mo sarili.
Bizarre. Dili mo dyan siya kaya bizarre. Kung bizarre dyan itong storyahan, maybe ka nang matcha nga adobo. Pero sa daw. Pero ang kuan dyan na ako, as a petsa de peligro na ka ng pagiging imaginative, as you said. Kaya atong i-take note dyan ang atong Holy Trinity, which is ang itlog, hotdog, o pansit canton. Yes. Honorable mention na lang po ang tuna nga delata og sardinas. Kay
San Marino.
San Marino 555 Fresca Century
Alam
na
ko na inyo, Mary.
nag-mention sponsored.
Not sponsored, by the way.
So ayun, also apart from that, you have to know your condiments because sa Holy Trinity ang labanan jud ana kay ang condiments. So for example sa itlog mao to boiled egg, scrambled egg, tortang talong o kanang tinapa og kuan, itlog kana lang siya. Dili mo gud kayo bizarre kay ako mga food kay kanang ginaisip gihapon ako if maglast pa ba ning tama or unsa ba? Basta kay ang hotdog kanang ketchup og onion. Wow! Ganon siya.
Onion?
Yes, tami siya guys. Nakita lang ako siya sa TikTok. So, ana siya guys. Use your social media well. So, mag-search ta para maging creative ito tong balay. Kay gamay na lang atong kwarta.
Yes.
At least, ang wifi, at siya sa ato ang bayronon. Ang sa daw. So, maauto siya, guys. Nasa daw. Okay, go.
So, grabe no, ang mga, sa mga ingani na moments na gipit o gutom jud ta. Lahi-lahi jud tag diskarte aron makasurvive we no. And para masudlan na to ang tiyan. And speaking of discarte, no, mag-move forward sa ta. Yes, move forward, girl. Na kung pwede ba may mangayo sa inyong mga secret tips and tricks sa inyong mga danger days moment na unya unsa yung mga advice para sa uban nato ng mga estudyante like you Kuya Rex and sa imo Ate Chloe na adulting unsa yung mga advice na pwede mahatag sila secret tips and tricks na let's say ang ubang tao wala pa din nila naisip na pag moabotay ilang danger day moments.
Walang simple lang pero wala lang ako na
Gani.
Ayun, for me siguro since hindi lang naman food yung expenses natin like andyan yung mga parcel natin.
Kasali na yun sa budget.
Sige na lang yung mga other essential items natin.
Triangle of need.
Ayun, like yung mga for toiletries natin, no. Siguro learn to bulk orders din kasi if ko-compute mo siya per use, mas tipid yung per bulk. Like, maka naka-botelya. Wholesale kumbaga. Then, siguro, track down din na mga expenses mo kahit may Excel file ka or some paper, no? Like, for the week, kung paano mo siya iba-budget, no? Then, know your limits din, of course, na afford ko ba mag-math or mag-don-math this day? Or, ingana or afford ko ba mag-check out to the sale kumbaga ganun.
Afford ba na ako na mag-deserve ko ni this?
Oo, or di kaya deserve ko ba mag-trek alone, bababa na ang spirit or mag-wait, maggulat ng kauban, di ba? So ayun din. And then also join yung mga activities ng university since most of them may free food, no? So like
Yes, tama.
So mag-volunteer ka sa mga panginuhod to. So yun din. Tapos may mga even sa mga college levels na activities, feel ko meron din naman yun. So at least naka-volunteer ka na. May pagkain ka pa.
Yes, exactly. Smart siya dito,
Hitting two stones.
Hitting two birds, guys. With
With
one stone.
Yeah. Okay, so before ko magkuhan sa akong tips, kaya tama dyan itong ingon ni Rex, no, na mo-attend dyan sa mga events sa UP Main, kinaan dyan yung mga pagkaon, kay aside sa ma-happy na ka, kay ka na, na-hindi rin na bago ma-experience, kay, for example, kung mo-attend po ka sa mga ED and hapit, nakapamalikas.
Wait lang.
Sa mga EDs and other events, kaya at least, pag adun mo na, ano yung pagkaon, naapod kay matunaan.
Yes.
So, food for the thought, food for the stomach.
Yes,
That's
tama.
So, mga na mag-move on na to sa ako ang tips. First, before ko mag-on sa akong tips, kay mag-on ko sa akong experience na lang. Kay murag dito na ko ma-synthesize. So, synthesize kung sa ang tips. So, first of all, kay, ang paansyod na ko is, know your location. Know your area.
Data
Kanang kabalo ka.
gathering.
Yes,
As a
data
researcher.
gathering. Dapat kabalo ka sa kung unsa ang mga pagkaunan, mga ukayan, or unsa ba sa imuhang area. Kay para kabalo ka diretso kung aha ka mo adto, dili ka dayon mawala-wala or something. So, sa akong experience, kay nachud ko yung Holy Trinity na po sa pagkaunan. Yes. First kay Kanto K, second kay AFC, third kay Prados. Yes. So sa Kanto K, naamo gud na sa only rice, especially kung gutom na gutom jud ka, no? And dito, ang favorite jud ako kay ang KM1. Kay upat na siya ka barbecue. Tapos, kung magkuamagod ka sa only rice with 2 hours sa rice, kay naa sila free pastil sa imong first rice.
Yes,
And ako ang experience,
Here,
kay
here it is.
maano ni siya, kay ang kanang pastil nga free, kasya na siya for 4 to 5 rice. Yes, 4 to 5 cups of rice. Kay, ano lang, kanang i-proportion na nimo siya. And again, know your condiments. Mag-request yun ka dito ang mga paprika, mga pepper, mga sa to, chili oil, chili garlic, ang chicken oil. Kay para mo to ang mo supplement sa sabaw o simong pastil para magkasya siya sa 4 to 5 rice.
Yes, another chef moment.
Yes, creative, imaginative.
Yes.
Resourceful lang kay walay kwarta. Charis. Ang upat nga barbecue na bilin si mong KM1 para na siya sa imong breakfast, lunch, and dinner ugma.
Smart!
Yes.
Na-extend niya, Day. Ang isa niya, Camille, na how much?
Yes, ano siya? Basta 1/3 and 1/3 na portion. Tapos iproportion lang mo siya sa imong daily tomorrow.
Yes.
Ano siya? Tapos next kay sa AFC naman. For example, kay wala jud kay kaon the whole day. Barato lang jud kay sa AFC. Murang maligdag ko oy nag-promote. Sana mag-sponsor. Charot. So, ato siya AFC, kay 69 pesos naman na sila. No? Ay, 74 na to sila karon kay mahal na lagi ang panaliton karon.
Yes,
Pero
sobra.
anyway, only rice na sila. Tapos napad yung manok. Ang i-order dyan ako na siya always kay breast. Kaya dako dyan na siya nga area.
Yes.
Area. And ang kuana kay again 4 to 5 rice na po. Tapos ang kauna na nako kay chicken skin. Ang karne.
Grabe.
Yes, ang karne kay bili na po siya para pang ugma.
Ugma.
Yes, and lastly, Prados. My favorite to dito ako. Of course, Prados mo okay. Kung gusto dito ka, maghanap yung kaglutong bahay, no? And ito ka sa Paris kay affordable o paspas na kayo lang service. Wala dito yung promotion. So, ito siya. Akong i-order dyan na paborito kay 𝗟𝗓𝗘 pork. Daga man na siya na pieces. Tapos, ang ako ang ikuan kay 45 pieces lang sa 𝗟𝗓𝗘 pork akong kaunan para sa duha ka orders, duha ka cups of rice na medyo gamay good siya kay mahal naman good ang bugas karon dili man good siya 20 pesos per kilo. Huwag sa daw.
Grabe.
And then ang kanang 45 rice kasya na siya for 2 rice. Yes, ang bilin para na po siya pang ugma. To the point na pag magbayad dagod ko sa kuan sa kita ko ate, kay kabalo na sila daan sa akong buhatan which is ang mangayo og cellophane. Diretso na siya pang ugma, diretso initon lang jud siya, ana lang jud. So aka na mga bilin-bilin nimo, dapat jud kay naa kay bugas kay para pagkaugma kay libre na imong kaon. Diretso na pagkaon-kaon dai. So mao to siya first step kay know your area. Wow. Wala dahil to siya guys ang synthesize. Synthesize. Second kay ano jud kanang walk. Walkathon. Tama to. Kay kanang aside sa makatipid na ka, naka-exercise pa ka. Wow.
Sige.
Wala lang, Jake.
Sige.
So, ito siya. Tapos, you have to know your area as well. You have to know certain points or certain location. Kay, naman ko na yung fair matrix, no?
Yes.
So, kanang kabalo ka dapat kung asa ang landmark, kung ka pwede makatipid. So, magbaklay sa ka from, for example, UP Min to, asa ba? Esterlings. Tapos, ito, pag pababa na dayon ka from, kung ikaw lang isa ha, kay makatipid mo ka kung daghan mo. Kung ikaw lang isa, so ato ka Esterlings, magbaklay ka pa Esterlings, naka-exercise na ka. Then Esterlings, ato ka for example sa AFC, kay gigutom ka. 15 na lang na compared to 25 sa dapat imong bayaran. So you really have to know your certain locations. And apart from that, you have to know your certain locations pag magpamasahe. Kailangan magdala jud kag exact na presyo, panaliton. Exact na kwarta na imong pambayad sa pamasahe.
Yes.
Kay kabalo man ta dapat sa ato ang fare matrix. Wow, ganon. Kay para idiretso na nimong hatag sa driver ay mula ka na dayon ka.
Yes.
Be assertive pero be kind gihapon kay dapat kabalo pud ta kay nanarbaho lang mo gihapon. So
Yes,
dapat tama jud
tama.
atong ibayad sa atong mga tricycle drivers. Ana pa, matud pa sa mama ni Cinderella no kay have courage and be kind.
Tama.
Have courage kay be assertive sa dapat kung unsa atong katungod, di ba?
Yes.
And be kind kay dapat tama jud gihapon ang atong ipanghatag sa ato ang mga fellow Filipinos.
Yes, biskan na kita
Yes.
na nagakalisod na
Ma-
dapat dili ta manapak og ibang
Yes,
tao.
tama na. So, I will
Yes.
watch every one of you kung mag 1, 2, 3 mong Chares! Tama na to siya!
Pero Ate Chloe, I heard no na-learn po na ako na sa another namo na blockmate na gikan po daw niya na-learn sa imuha na kanang sa AFC na kanang murag ang iced tea na kanang
Oo,
unsa to?
Ang iced tea man good is piso mo nga. Kanang tamis man good na ilang iced tea or pineapple, no? So, ang mahitabo ana kay magkuha kog another glass of water na kanang katunga lang good. O nya ibut din ako ang kanang katunga sa kuan para maghalo-halo sila para duha na siya kabuok baso
Wow!
imong kuan
Smart
juice.
move.
Kay para busog na ka sa kanon. Kuapot.
Hydrated
imong kuan
pa ka, di ba?
hydrated.
Hydrated.
Pero mo inom po dag tubig ha kay dapat dili basig ma-quick chow po na. Bahaw po og pineapple og ice tea atong ihi. So bantay-bantay ta sa tong beauty eye. Ana siya.
May tosis ang
Tama.
fusion. So, kini mga tips and tricks kayo kang share, no? So, sa karon ba nga, ito di peligro, and if ever ma-apply yung po na to, like, anong sale, like, Ate Chloe, fresh grad. So, ano na, sa mo tanang lugi ang sildo.
Oh, maujud na.
Ma-apply niya, ato ni, soon, kita sa graduating student. Yes. Yes, please, Lord.
Kagadit mo.
Oo. Back, like, kay katawa taron, like, okay, funny siya humor. Pero, syempre, kanang, makauna na to ba nga, wala talaga lisuluging ani kung nakasila tarong na ekonomiya.
Oh,
exactly.
ay.
So,
Agree.
So, tama ka dira, Zoe, no? Kay, grabe din ka helpful o basin gani kaning mga ginapang-ingon nila sa ato karon kay ma-apply na nako sa akong sarili like karon
Pwede,
dayon kay petsa
pwede.
di peligro jud pud kayo. Yes. Pero bitaw, I bet daghan po dira sa atong mga pamilya karon no ang makarelate po sa mga experiences nila Kuya Rex ug ni Ate Chloe. Unya, dili jud nato maingon no na lahi-lahi jud ang tagma kinaagi sa mga times na wala jud ta ikagawa sa atong mga bulsa. Unya, lahi-lahi jud og mga sakripisyo, lahi-lahi pong diskarte. Pero isa man jud ang gusto nato no kay ang makakaon, mabuhi o makapadayon. Yes. So salamat kay sa inyo Kuya Rex ug Ate Chloe sa pakikipagchikahan sa amo karon
Thank you,
ug
Paul.
pag-share sa inyong experiences, tips and advice para sa tanan. So
Yes.
would you like to give a closing remark? Parting
Go Rex.
Ayun, so of course, itong Pecha de Peligro is hindi naman natin siya kailangan gawing daily basis, no? We have to focus din sa health natin since
Yes.
health is wealth. Kumbaga.
Yes, tama.
Diba? Kaya mas makatipid ta if mas complete yung nutrition natin, no? Since di na din natin mapalit ng tambal, no?
Yes.
Anything ganyan. And then also, add ko lang dun sa Holy Trinity ng na food, bilihan ng food is yung dito sa may pastil sa may Dol sa Matwells.
Ay,
Kay-
meron pa sila doon.
Like in front lang siya ng Sisig Republic. So, yun guys, if may
add that to your notes, guys.
add that to your notes.
Kita po tayo. Ay,
Oo.
say, aswat po di ay.
Tapos yung mga barbecue na ganyan, alamin nyo kung saan din yung mas mura. So, and also, the most important is yung budget talaga. Since know your limits, hindi lahat tayo apple ni Henry C.
Tama.
Diba?
Ay, as much as we want to na
Hindi tayo lahat nepo babies.
Yes, tama, di ba? Na makapagusto na lang permente.
Oo.
Ready na ka
So,
mag-millionaire.
So para hindi tayo umabot sa Pecha de Peligro, from the start nung pagbibigay sa atin ng allowance natin or ng mga stipends natin, no, i-budget na natin siya all throughout the entire duration nung allowance na yun dapat.
Yes.
Yun.
Yes, tama to siya na kabalo jud ta mag-budget sa to ang mga butang-butang. Pero sama pod ana kay naamanggoy ang Pecha de Peligro manggod kay dili jud siya malikayan sometimes kay bisag naga-budget ta og tarong malupig jud ta sa kung unsa man ang gikuan sa atong ekonomiya. Dili jud nato ma-blame atong selves kay naamang good joy kakulangan ang paghatag sa ato sa basic social services sa ato ang
sobra.
gobyerno sa amo asweldo sa inyo ha kay ang inyong sa katungod ninyo sa edukasyon o kanang pagsuporta dapat sa inyong mga panginahanglanon.
Yes.
So, mao to siya mga estudyante man to trabahante pareha sa jud ta mahimong biktima gihapon sa mga kakulangan sa ato ang gobyerno. Mao sama sa atong pagpaningkamot para sa atong mga kaugalingon na magpadayon sa ato ang pangeskwela, sa atong pagtrabaho, sa ato ang para dili ta moabot sa 𝗘𝗣𝗑𝗧 kay kita pod kay makibalo og makialam sa ato ang mga ganap diri sa ato ang nasod kay para kita naapod tay alam og para makialam. Tama. O makialam jud ta sa kuan sa to palibot. So mao to siya guys. Maraming salamat.
Salamat kaayo Ate Chloe ug Kuya Rex.
So, salamat kasi yung words of wisdom, no? So, sige, mo-break sa takajot. Kajot lang, ha? Ay, oo. Nagay pa story ang chika ng pizza di Peligro Moments. This is Zoe.
And Aliyah on Rated KKK. As in,
Kanya-kanyang kwento.
Tila, hinto muna dilaw Maganda na pwede Let's 1, 2, 3, go! Huwag mag-road rage at kuya Batas trapiko Sundan pa'y ligtas ng Huwag mag-road rage at kuya Sa tamang kalsada Dapat ton lang ang ruta Huwag mag-road rage at kuya Disiplina'y tagtay Para sa bawat sakay Huwag mag-road rage at kuya Susunod sa batas Maraming buhay ay maliligtas
Hindi lamang galing sa arkitektura ang hatid ng UP sa District 1. Sila rin ay concern sa ating kalikasan. Sa darating na ika-6 ng Disyembre, samahan sila sa Philippine Eagle Center at makibilang sa mga activities na naglalayong panatilihin ang kagandahan ng ating kapaligiran. Sa muli December 6, 2025, sa Philippine Eagle Center. Kita-kits mga kasama!
Sa unang hakbang pa lamang, dapat may sandigan ka. Kaya para sa mga bagong eskolar ng bayan, gabay ninyo ang UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Sa dalang paninindigan na tumuklas, lumakbay, pagsilbihan ang masa. Patuloy na isinusulong ng CFS ang boses at kapakanan ng kanilang kapwa estudyante. Mula unang araw hanggang sa bawat pagsubok. Ngayong Disyembre, abangan ang nag-aapoy na selebrasyon ng pagkakaisa at kultura. Kasadya 2025, ngayong December 5 na. At kasabay nito, magbubukas ang pintuan ng oportunidad para sa mga handang magsilbi. CFS Volcorp's Recruitment. Abangan, makiisa at patuloy na manilbihan sa bayan. Ito ang Council of Freshie Students. Para sa eskolar, para sa bayan.
And now we're back. Nari sa Rated KKK. As in, kanya-kanyang kwento. Precious of taog. Andam na po't makikchika.
Andam kaayo Zo, no? Ganina daghan-daghan jud tag nastoryahan about sa mga personal na experiences nato sa Pets sa Peligro. Uban si Kuya Rex o si Ate Chloe. Pero syempre, dili lang dira maundang atong sharing for today, no? Kay ang Pets sa Peligro, dili lang man na istorya nato, pero istorya pud na sa kadaghanan.
Sa mga dya, Aliyah, kay muna karon magbasa ta sa mga messages na na-address ato about sa Pets sa Peligro moments sa atong
Anon, yes. So, itong mga listeners, siguro?
Dapat makaali. Grabe, hindi ko mga experiences manadri karon.
Maubazo, like, murag, mas na-curious na noon ko sa kung unsa magipadala sa atong mga listeners karong adlaw, no?
So, sundan na to kay sender number 1. Nung nasa EBL pa ako, minsan naghihirapan ako mag-grocery kasi hindi naman minsan agad-agad nakakabigay yung parents ko. Tapos, yung mga binibili ko lang, isa mga biscuit at kape para makamura. Lakad ko rin EBL hanggang na manok at vice versa. Kapuya, no?
Kapuya, oy. Wakaton to the highest level, good guy.
Para makatipid sa pera. Isang beses pa ako kumain nun. Meron din sa sobrang uhaw ko, ininom ko na lang yung tubig sa gripo sa CR. Ha?
Kala, uy, grabe, like, all around, first and foremost, all arounder kayo yung experience nung naka-walkathon, tapos nahimo siyang mathematician. Pero what struck me the most though is, katong giingon jud sa sender na, muinom lang siya tubig, gikan sa gripo sa CR, sa sobra ka uhaw, day.
Like, si Arjo day, nga gripo day.
Diba, like, I mean, siguro sa uban, dili siya ingana ka big deal, no? Pero if ikaw, mas prefer nimo or dili jud ka anad sa mga ingana na buhaton or sa muinom og tap water, especially if gikan sa CR, girl.
Pero ako, top water enjoyer jud ko.
Oo. Dabay.
Dako, dabaw no. Like, hindi pa naman tubig. Tingnan pag-iilang. So, doon sa pinakaliming tubig. Ibutan.
Sige, di.
So, gripo. Pero, dila na ako i-judge siya.
Tama.
Pinakadol nila.
Siguro like dako jud kay ni siya na bagay, no, para maingon nila na para maingon nimo na walang-wala na jud ka para ma-resort ka sa ing ato na choice na moinom jud kag tubig gikan sa CR, girl. And as a dormer na college student, makarelate pud ko sa mga sa katong ingon ni sender na maglisod og grocery kay dili makapadala dayon ang parents nila. Unya, this pud ba yan na magsig pangayo, di ba, no, kay yes, maulaw jud ka kay kabalo pud ka na nangihatag pud sila dito para sila mga pagkaon o sa uban nilang pangangailangan, di ba?
Like, ulo kay no kay di nagi ikong breadwinner, primary bread loser.
Gani ma-feel jud nimo na kanang unsa man ni oy nagsige na lang man kog pangayo pero wala na may makaon, pili na lang jud ka kung maulaw ka or magutom, di ba?
Ana, pick a struggle na lang jud.
Yeah, pick a struggle na lang yun.
Moving forward.
Sige, moving forward, girl. Moving forward. So, dirita sa storya ni sender number 2. Ingon pa niya diri day na kada pet sa Dipiligro, ang laging sumasalo sa akin is a 𝗓𝗓𝗏 21. Asa na 𝗓𝗓𝗏 21? Siguro. Kay 30 lang daw ang may dinner ka na daw. Nagpapastil rin ako minsan and pang buong araw na meal na yung 2 pastil.
Wait lang, first of all, asa kang akanan?
Diba? Like, first and foremost, asa jud ng 𝗓𝗓𝗏 21. Kaya, karon lang ko kabaluan na, girl, as someone na 4 years na diri sa UP Mindanao.
Hawain na gani.
Bilang. Uy, please, pahawain na dyan.
Pero 30, makadinner na kan.
Diba?
Oh my God, dili lang ba yato ang mga kanang nagtagapamino karon ng makano, kapag trips kita
pa na, put that on your note, girl. Labi na karon. Diba? Nya, kay, ato daw na itong atuan, be, kay murag kailangan na jud kay, diba, karon mga ingani ng panahon na. Pero, bitaw, oy, nakatry pod ko ano mga pagpastil-pastil ra tibuok adlaw, usahay gani day. Kanang sa isa lang jud nakapastil sa isa ka adlaw. Kanya ingana jud nakagipit te. I-gaslight mo na lang jud sarili mo na kaya ning kabusugan nimo sa isa ka pastil sa tibuok adlaw day bis ka nagkutoy-kutoy na nimong tiyan.
Intermittent fasting daw.
Yes. Unsa big word lang ito.
Intermittent fasting. Midday.
Pero bitaw, oy, kanang murag mag-gaslight jud mo sarili na, ay busog pa man ko kay nagpastil man ko ganina. O nya isa ra gud kabuok na pastil, di ba?
Pero sige na lang. Mangta na sila. Dayon sa imuhang diet pa.
Birthday. Pero bitaw, oy, like lisod pud kayo kay kanang murag need jud nimo tipiro nimong kwarta o nya severe jud nato ng pastil day.
Naron pero like maghilak na gud tong
o say ba kanang pag mag-isip ka na kanang 100 na lang nabilin sa mong kwarta, maghigda na lang ka isipon nimo unsaon man ako ni pagtipid akong pamasahe di man ko gusto maglakaw og gane dere atong ginaingon ganing na pagka-imaginative, di ba?
Times of the stress.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we're now down to our final chosen contestant.
Sure na contestant.
Going back.
Going back!
Okay, serious na.
Serious.
Last sender for this day, ano siya? Gi-microwave ang noodles kaya para maluto ang canned tuna.
Open and close parentheses, compliment taste. Unsa daw?
Wait lang. Gina-visualize para ako.
Oo.
Sabot na yan.
Pero ang mag-ingon ako diri, no, chef boss level siya dahil kay wala pa ko ka-try or kadungog anang ihalo ang noodles sa canned tuna. Kay lasa no?
Sumurag para para lahi na po na taste kay di na lang always na
ay okay, di ba makabidli makabidli, di ba na nakanang always na balik-balik na lang imuhang malasahan niya pag mag-add man good ka fusion nimo ang duha ka lahi na lasa, di ba, murag something na bago na pa siya mo
something new.
Chef boss level gid siya dai as in. So kanang ingana bitaw na mga moments na tong ginaingon ganina na kanang murag pakitaan jud og pamaraan kung unsa na lang nabilin sa atong mga grocery, di ba? Okay. Aside sa as kita na college student kanang lisod jud kay na magsige na lagpangayo sa tong parents ba kay maulaw jud ka.
Hindi, ulaw na dyan kayo dahil nag-ano nag-graduate talay ko ron, makagraduate talay ko ron, ibalik dyan ako tanan. Kanya, sabi na, okay, fresh grad na naging sa mga na to.
Di ba? Lisod jud kayo siya, no? Nakanamurag walang-wala jud ka na maigawas sa imuhang bulsa, no? So, mao to, no? Salamat kay sa mga nag-share sa ilang mga istorya ug napuno tag kadasig ug brilliant ideas gikan sa inyo, ug uban pa nakita nato diri na dili lang siya kalisod sa isa, no, but also isa ka komunidad of survivors. Once again, ako si Aliyah, kauban nako si
Zoe, dili lang sa Rated KKK. As in, saan yung
to
sa Radyo Iskolar, Voices in Motion.
Voices in motion.
Where voices find direction.
Voices in motion. You're listening.
Where stories create connection.
Voices in motion. Voices.
Connection that grows into action.
Voices in motion.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening.
You're listening.
You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.
Voices in motion.
Uy! 200,000 pesos? Seryoso ni? Yes! Makabayad na dyan kong bills! Uy! Nakadaog kong sakinan! Ka ako ni pwede i-claim. Laptop? Sir, uy! Scam lang man ni. Oh! Kaya ko kasi yung mga ngisi. Apo! Nakadaog ko grapple! Ako sadnak! Nakadawat sad ko! Pa! Lo! Ayaw mo to, ana! Daghan kayong scam karon. Sa panahon karon, daghan na ug atik. Magpaatik sad ba ka? Maging listo para ang hapsay nga kinabuhi, klaro.
Papilat ako, Neng! Uy! Mag-ma-up na lagi tsunami dito sa ako, di ba? Oo nga eh! Pinaimpake ko na si Roger, mahirap na. Na! Itakas ni Joe! Wala yung tubig na plate na agad! Uy! Naunsa naman ni Uy! Hindi na pa niya nag-impake na ka! Oh! Anong kailakon mong ka? Tsunami mundo! Ha? Kidapawan man ta. Nakalandlak pa ni Diri. Mas mabuto pa siguro mag-apo kasi matsunamihan ta Diri ah. Ay, sus, mo na lagi patakag-storya te. Kaya dili lali makabato ng kakulba pirni.
This segment is powered by Grado School Management System. Smarter systems, smarter schools. Connect with Grado at 𝗔𝗓𝗘, on Facebook at fb.com/onlinegrado, or email them at info@𝗔𝗓𝗘. Also brought to you by 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗘, 𝗓𝗣𝗡𝗅𝗔𝗥 Dormitory, The Cozy Cup Cafe, Mr. and Mrs. Nate Del Rosario Jr., Melvina Villases, and Merle Don Acol. Special thanks to 𝗩𝗢𝗖𝗘, Precious Jane Denura, Jerome Montecalvo, Anakin Skywalker Pactores, Ernest Busalpa, Daphne Sara Simo, Worko Co-working and Study Cafe Davao, Chick Chiffon, and Rabbit Cosplay Shop. In partnership with Dugong Anthro, United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary District 1, Student Christian Movement of the Philippines UP Mindanao, UP Legal Studies Society, Ampli UP Mindanao, Kappa Epsilon Fraternity and Sorority UP Mindanao, UP Mindanao Communicators Guild, and the UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Maraming salamat dahil sa tuloy-tuloy ninyong suporta, tuloy-tuloy din ang kwento dito sa Radyo Iskolar. Voices in Motion.
Voices in motion.
Where voices find direction.
Where stories create connection.
Connection that grows into action.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.
Voices in motion.
Magandang araw mga tagapakinig, nagbabalik ang programa kung saan radyo ang labanan, dito ang bagsakan. This is Mic Drop. I'm Ali.
And I'm Abby.
And I'm sure all of you are looking forward to this new episode. Kasi dito sa Mic Drop, palaging may dalawang panig ang kwento. And of course, we're here to make sure you hear both.
So this afternoon episodes hit close to home for a lot of Filipinos, especially the youth. Kasi this time around, we're talking about the proposed 𝗟𝗦𝗞𝗢𝗙 Bill. It is formerly known as the Anti-Online Hate and Harassment Bill, no, na hinihain naman ni Senator 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗘 na bilang tugon sa napaka-heartbreaking na pangyayari kung saan pumanaw ang sikat na online personality na si 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗄𝗏 noong nakaraang Oktubre.
Right, Eman, the 19-year-old daughter of TV host Kim Atienza.
Yes.
Isa siya sa actually pinaka-vocal advocate ng mental health online, and she even used her platform to challenge stigma, share her journey, and even encourage others to seek help.
Exactly. Kaya naman the bill after her seeks to make online spaces safer by penalizing cyberbullying, fake news, and of course, yung online defamation. Basically, gusto nitong palakasin ang proteksyon ng mga kabataan at iba pang vulnerable users online.
Yeah, pero tulad na lang lagi natin sinasabi dito sa Mic Drop, there's always more beneath the headline. Empathy on paper doesn't always translate into justice in application. Kaya, ang tanong natin ngayong araw na ito, is 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗄𝗏 Bill a step towards kindness or a big nonsense?
Let me start by saying, I think this bill is very timely and necessary. Kasi, Ali, the internet can be brutal. Alam mo naman, ang bata or mga ordinary citizens ay pinapatulan ng trolls or kaya tinatawag kung anong-anong mga pangalan or minamock sa public comments. For me, this law gives them a voice, a safeguard, kumbaga.
Well, gets ko naman yun, Abby, and I can empathize. Trust me, I can. Pero may takot din kasi ako. I have those reservations kasi kapag sinabing anti-hate speech o anti-defamation, madali siyang gawing weapon eh. I mean, especially sa bansang gaya ng Pilipinas, kung saan madalas mapagkamalan ang dissent as disrespect.
Pero, di ba may mga safeguards naman? Ang sabi sa draft, platforms have to remove harmful content within 24 hours after verification. Hindi naman ito automatic censorship, di ba?
I mean, after verification, well, fine lines really there. Kasi, sino naman ang magve-verify, di ba? Sino ang magde-desisyon kung alin ang hate at alin ang criticism? Baka next time kapag nag-post ka ng valid comment laban sa isang politiko, biglang ma-flag siya as harassment.
Uy, hindi ko yun naisip. Well, that's a valid concern to be honest. Pero, kung walang law to set boundaries, abuse will also continue unchecked, di ba? Remember, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom to harm.
True, pero hindi rin dapat means to silence the truth. Kasi, look, meron naman tayong Cybercrime Prevention Act at Anti-Bullying Act. Redundant na ito if you think about it. And if another bill won't just fix an already weak system.
But Ali, teka. Di ba symbolic acts also matter? Laws have power not just in punishment but in message. This bill tells Filipinos that we value kindness online.
Pero kaya lang, that's the thing. Well, symbolism without structure is performative. Kung hindi pa rin accessible ang mental health care, counseling, at public support, it's just words in a PDF. And 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗄𝗏 struggled not only with cyberbullying, but with deeper trauma and inaccessibility of care sa bansa natin.
Oh, tama no. Food for thought talaga yung sinabi mo. Fair point. Pero, di ba nakasaad naman sa bill na magkakaroon ng victim support and protection program kasama ang PSWD, DOJ, at DOH? I think that's a structural response eh.
I mean, kahit sabihin pa nating may suporta ang batas na to, dapat tandaan na yung ng mga nakikinig na iba ang tunay na kalagayan ng mental health infrastructure natin. Isipin mo, sa buong Pilipinas, 4 lang ang mental health hospitals. 46 ang psychiatric inpatient units at 29 outpatient facilities ang available para sa milyon-milyong Pilipino. Hindi madali para sa ordinaryong tao na maghanap ng professional help, lalo na kung taga-probinsya ka. So, ilang tao ba talaga ang mabenefisyuhan kapag 4 lang ang mental hospital sa buong bansa? Nakatago lang sa footnote yung mga provision na yan, like, nice sa papel, pero wala sa ground talaga.
I mean, yes, you're correct on that. I could agree talaga with you on that. Sobrang laki ng problema kasi, alam mo, Ali, kahit may access ka naman, iba pa rin talaga yung usapin sa presyo. Alam mo ba, balita ko, yung mga therapy sessions or consultations ay grabe ang mamahal pala talaga. May iba pa nga ng mga therapy sessions na umaabot ng 1,000 hanggang 4,500 bawat session. Grabe ang laking halaga na talaga nito para sa mga minimum wage earners, di ba? Paano pa naman yung mga walang-wala? So, paano natin sila mabibigyan ng justice, kumbaga? Pero naman kasi, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a starting point. Hindi kasi lahat nabibigyan ng pagbabagong na parang biglaan. Sometimes you have to fix the system one aspect at a time.
Pero kapag band-aid solution lang naman, tuloy-tuloy pa rin tayong nasusugatan. Well, we'll see. Only time will tell pag napasa na talaga to ng tuluyan. Pero sa ngayon, we'll have a very short break and later, Mic Drop will return with a very special guest kung saan maririnig natin ang kanyang pananaw tungkol sa 𝗓𝗦𝗢𝗘. So, stay tuned, folks.
In every story told, in every message delivered, there is a communicator behind it. For all BA Communication and Media Arts students, your home org is here to amplify your voice, where we also serve, inspire, and excel. From media production and creative services to media partnerships and publicity support, and even communication and media training and workshops, ComGuild is your partner in shaping stories that move, inform, and inspire. And this year, gear up for the biggest arena of youthful brilliance. Speak Up, the regional inter-high school public speaking and media arts competition. A celebration of voices, vision, and the future of communication. For every BACMA student, for every storyteller in the making, your journey starts here. This message is brought to you by the UP Mindanao Communicators Guild.
Kapatiran ang tanging layunin ng bawat isa, at sa 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗘, serbisyo sa mamamayan ang kanilang pangunahing ginagawa. Nakita ang 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗘 ngayong semestre sa mga naturang events tulad ng natapos lamang na Iskolar 2025, partnership with Philippine Eagle Foundation at 𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗘 2025. Abangan ang kanilang upcoming event this February 2026 sa kanilang taunang documentary. So if you have a passion in arts, watch out!
And we're back sa Mic Drop. So today, we'll introduce a special guest dito sa ating studio.
It's a very, very special guest, no? And we'll just see who it is. So, hi, Kelvin. Take it away.
Hello, I'm Kelvin. Is there any customary procedure to introduce myself?
No. Just say, so year, degree program, who you are, and then, some of the things that you're interested in doing, hobbies, anything that would define or introduce you to our listeners.
So, hi, I'm Kelvin. I'm second year BS Biology student. If we're gonna talk about hobbies, my hobbies are supposed to be drawing and things that make me a kid, but then I got forced into other competitions like debating, so now I'm here. Pero most of my hobbies also include gaming or the typical things that men do, since sadly I am a man. So
Naka-konting chikahan na namin si Kelvin about the 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗔𝗥 bill, and right now we're just gonna do a really deep dive into things. So, Kevin, tell us, what do you know about the 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗢𝗔𝗥 bill? First glance talaga and everything else.
I remember I checked on Facebook. There was a post from something about 𝗘𝗣𝗓𝗘𝗘, and then he mentioned about creating this 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗢𝗘 bill, which was a response to what happened to 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗢𝗘. Rest in peace. We all know what happened. I hope she has a wonderful life up above. And the entire thing was supposed to be an address towards the online hate or the online harassment that 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗢𝗘 dealt with. But the main problem was, number one, the timing of the issue, the timing of being able to create the bill, but then also secondly, how the bill was introduced as well, and why the bill was introduced now rather than any time else when it was necessary. But yeah, that's mostly much that I know.
Clear, you've talked about the timing of the bill. I'm sure you've also read the provisions na, and it's all over the internet. Everyone's talking about it first 3 days to a week after Ammon died. No, but do you think that this bill will genuinely make our online spaces safer for students like us?
If we're gonna talk about things and making it genuinely safe, the problem is the reason why online spaces are not safe is not because of constant harassment. Of course, that is an issue, but the reason why most of these people feel unsafe is because they feel as if the things that they are saying are not necessarily protected in nature. So the reason why a lot of these people feel as if they can't say anything is not just because of harassment, but because they feel like, huge corps are going to run down on them for things that they're going to say. Especially since we see the internet as a huge free speech market, we don't really know what's going to happen. But even if it's a free speech market, we feel like, hey, there's these big people who want to be able to usurp our information, usurp the things that we're constantly saying, right? And if we want to make things safer, we want to be able to ensure to these people that the things that we are saying are protected in nature, not just being able to force other people to not say anything. Because in terms of the 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗢𝗘 bill, we don't necessarily know what counts as satire, what counts as protected speech, and what counts as harassment. So in this case, people are left confused. Am I actually safe operating inside the internet if I don't even know if the things that I'm saying are actually protected or not? So this bill is not going to make us feel safe. It's going to make us feel more scared, because now we don't really know what we're doing, and now we don't really know if we're going to stay safe with the things we say.
It's very fine lines and very fine margins. Kasi, say for instance, it's people in authority, political figures, celebrity figures, diba? It's easy for them to literally enforce or gamitin yung bill someone in the future to really just, alam mo yun, oh, I feel attacked, and this is an attack against my dignity, against my person. Even if, legally speaking, diba, they're put in these celebrity figures kasi, when you say public figures, meron kasi silang parang leeway yung people to literally criticize them kasi they put themselves in a public position, a public space. But this bill essentially negates that as well. Kasi pwede naman nilang isa-cite na, this 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗢𝗘, I feel attacked in cyberspace, and I could literally say na, ito na statement, this is an attack against me. So it's very fine margins kasi you could literally use that as parang a silencer weapon good siya against the common people or the common folks, essentially. So what do you think about, there's a lot of talk about it online. Some people support the bill. Others say that it might limit free speech. Where do you stand on that balance?
Honestly, I think from the discussion we had just earlier, my stance is pretty clear. The reason why I'm opposed to it is not only because of free speech, but also because of the implications that it has. Number one, it has some logical inconsistencies. For example, if the case for protected speech is that it is true, but there is also harassment that are technically factual in nature, how do we rule what harassment is if technically the harassment is true? But then secondly, usually this is just my take and this is my personal opinion, but libel and defamation are a rich man's weapon. The reason why libel and defamation usually exist is because rich people, the people in power, celebrities are often the ones who get criticized. And this is their weapon to try to go against the criticism. Especially in 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗧𝗏 when the harassment is defined subjectively. It's defined as if you were attacked. If you were attacked, then this is the essential ruling to make sure that you're protected from all of these harassments, which are basically just valid criticisms. So, when a poor person or when someone who is marginalized has to deal with the same type of defamation, they don't necessarily have the resources to be able to file the defamation or libel case. It is a rich man's game. That's why I'm practically opposed to it.
Speaking about it online, the way they were essentially marketing the bill, it's really about, providing mental health services, paving the way for these structures to be a quote unquote a lesson to the people to, be mindful of their speech online, to practice kindness, extend compassion to others, and then they're even marketing it really as something that could help people na mga nasa laylayan even to get access to, these mental health services, these consultations. But the way I'm seeing it, it's not really the case because it's really like footnotes on the entire file. When you look at it, the sections just outline this very general motherhood statements. We will provide blah. But ano yung implementing rules and regulations, di ba? So, ikaw, where do you think, would you agree with this? Kasi I really think na when they said na it's a way for the system to, get access easier for people to access mental health, I don't think that way. They're using it very parang opportunistic siya, kumbaga.
Yeah. The thing is, the way they try to rule the accessibility programs is that, hey, these things are in the responsibility of the DOJ or the DPWH or the Department of Health. And we all know how trustworthy those departments are. So we're going to definitely see some action. There's some parts in the bill itself that tell us that, hey, it's supposed to be implemented 24 hours after the bill was imposed. And practically, we don't see any sort of action from any of these departments in regards to being able to create accessible mental health services, because a bill is not going to cover the bills. Basically, you need to be able to invest or to be able to push funds for infrastructure, push funds for essential pooling or essential pipelining towards these jobs, right? Especially since a lot of people need these jobs. You can't just say that, hey, we want to be able to add more mental health if you don't have enough mental health hospitals to house these people. So now we're in a conundrum. We want to make things accessible, but for some reason we don't want to do the very thing that's supposed to make it accessible in nature, because we're lazy and we just think about creating performative statements. But then, secondly, in terms of its implementation, it's not necessarily understandable how the implementation of the truity of most of the claims are. You don't necessarily see any implementation as to how people will weigh if it's true, which type of people will weigh if it's true, if it's the Department of Justice, what are the bases to those claims, and how do they actually weigh if it's true. They only cite clauses, but not necessarily how these clauses will take into action or will take into regard specific nuances that might occur.
The way I see it, really implementation part, if there are no things running in the pipeline right now, as it is, no things running in the pipeline. In fact, before this even pipeline started, for factual, na-mention na namin to earlier in our program, that there are only 4 mental hospitals in the entire country, and that's unofficial data. It's really 4 mental hospitals scaling from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and these are even parang, there are of course other hospitals that offer, mental facilities and stuff. But when we say official mental health hospitals, iba kasi yung facilities dapat nila. Ibang-iba siya from the normal public and state-of-the-art hospitals that we do. And to even have this number up until now in the year of 2025, that's quite shocking that if you're filing a bill like this, might as well redirect its focus towards putting things in the pipeline and actually starting something. So, maiba naman tayo. We've mentioned earlier yung verification. who gets to say what's true of what's online? Parang who gets to persecute you upon these things? Kung pag ikaw ba binatikos, you're gonna be like, oh, totoo yun, totoo yun. I said so. Or sabi ng police, I said so, may warrant na, ganyan. Paano ba tayo?
And I agree with you guys, no, napaka-vague talaga nung bill. Kasi it states na it requires platforms to remove harmful content quickly. So, ikaw, Kelvin, do you think that social media companies can realistically do this, especially with millions of users?
No. Have you seen Twitter? That place is full of harmful content, just to say the least. But then there's also Facebook. Actually, if you think about it, Facebook has been more deregulated ever since. Do you ever see the hidden NSFW content in Facebook where you just click a video and it's actually like some sort of 18 plus content like porn? There's not necessarily... The regulations are becoming worse because there's more people that are using the platform.
But not more moderators.
Yeah, they're not more moderators. So we can't just say, hey, regulate these things when you don't really understand the situation as like at the very end of the day.
Going on online, I fear that we've reached the part na hindi na nagkakatugma yung ratio between moderators and the users. Usually, dapat in ideal, utopic na situation, dapat there are a certain number of moderators na who will limit yung ano yung nakikita, especially if it's users, even kids, are there online right now. But they said na, sabi ng bill, it could remove harmful content quickly. How quick is this gonna be? Realistically speaking, it's at the end of the day, ang hirap kasi even for Meta, when sabihin mo i-report mo siya, it's not necessarily mata-take down siya. It takes 1 week, 2 weeks, and if you say that this is harmful content, what's stopping others from posting other harmful content just to play with the lines of, is it true, is it not true? And then there's also the issue of trolling. Na hindi mo talaga easily mamamoderate lang talaga kasi you can't just ban all these accounts all at once. So, ikaw, what do you think if there is an improvement that you would want to see with this entire development ng 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗔𝗥 bill? Siguro additional provision if you'd like. What would it be?
Additional provision? If I think about the 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗔𝗥 bill, I think that the 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗔𝗥 bill is unnecessary, to say the least, for me. It's unnecessary and it also causes a lot more vagueness or ambiguity to the implementation of a lot of these things. I think that if you want to be able to recreate the bill, we want to be able to, let's say, for example, uplift and uphold the current Cyber Protection Act. Like, the problem with the current Cyber Protection Act is that it only talks about cyber terrorism or cyber destruction and all of these other things. Cyber libel is not necessarily defined. You don't necessarily see any discussion, not much discussion on hate speech inside something as important and social as the internet, which is weird because most of the things that they talk about in the Cyber Protection Act are cybersecurity things rather than social cyber policies. But then, secondly, if you want to be able to improve the 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗔𝗥 bill, the improvement should have been not just on policy, but also on time. The thing is, a lot of these things really could have been prevented, and a lot of these things really could have been much better implemented. But we've gone to the point where we can't necessarily regulate huge corporations anymore. We can't necessarily regulate a lot of these big tech companies and a lot of these huge social media spaces anymore. And we can't keep relying on performative words just to keep acting as if we're doing something when practically we're not.
I think it's too late.
Yeah.
The bill came too late. The implementation's even later.
Yeah.
Even later siguro. And sinabi daw ng online though, na hindi ba daw pwedeng, they're hitting two birds with one stone. Sabi nila, can we fight cyberbullying while working at the same time to improve mental health here? What can you say about that?
Number one, the bill got passed, was it? Did the bill get passed? The bill got passed and cyberbullying is obviously existing still. We're not solving anything. There's really nothing that's solved here. The initiatives of our state or our government in terms of this bill have been lackluster at best. Even if it tries to provide a lot of things, it does not necessarily provide anything. And in terms of developing mental health services, are we sure? We don't also see this as well. There's no infrastructure project that's coming. There's no new, scholarships or new betterments or new subsidies for people who want to go to mental health fields at the very end of the day.
I feel like the attention economy also doesn't work that way. You know, kaya di ba pag may bago siyang headline bill, doon na pupunta lahat ng airtime, lahat ng funding proposals, lahat ng, and you know, even public sympathy and empathy. And while it does help, you know, bring awareness siguro to the issue, we need to give it some credit at this point na parang, sige, it's parang putting in the limelight yung what happened with Emma and maybe being careful with our words online and stuff. Pero that's not the way that we should look into siguro the reality on the ground. Kasi yung mental health budget, wala pa rin. It's not really even passing through. Even pag-train ng school counselors, even at school, at state universities, like parang hindi pa rin siya nakikita as a need to have even this mental health facilities and people who could help with mental health. So this bill, parang it even takes, to me it takes away parang if we could have acted on things on the pipeline rather than using our efforts and expenditures on introducing a new bill, I think we could have more movement than what we're just gaining traction online. Pero sabi nila, Kelbs, may nga nagpadala sa amin na kung wala daw ganitong batas, what happens to victims of online abuse? Baka tuluyan silang mawalan ng loob magsalita.
Number one, the capacity to speak is not necessarily only constricted to this bill. If you want to create better capacities to speak, think of things more proximate. Hey, can I reach out to authorities? Can I reach out to therapists? Can I reach out to psychologists? Not just can I reach out to this made-up bill with no commission, with no agency that's properly handling this commission. This is not empowerment to these victims. It's a false sense of security, and they'll lull themselves into much more problems that will end up victimizing them.
I agree with you, Kelvin. Kasi mahalaga talaga ang clear guidelines sa implementing rules. Hindi naman kasi talaga natin pwedeng takutin agad na may batas dahil sa mga posibilidad ng mga misuse.
And like, it's not even like, not like we're against the bill. I mean, I am against the bill. I'm sure you are. Pero like, di naman siya, we're not just shedding light into this spectrum na kasi of things. We need to see on the gray areas of what the bill is actually, parang implications niya. Sometimes we look at bills and then think that it's the high and mighty, all glory solution to thing. But oftentimes that's not the case when you really want to implement things. And even ang bill, kahit sino pa ang Poncio Pilato siguro ang nagpasar niya. Pag if it's lacking the groundwork and you really don't detach ka sa ground. I don't really think that you could even pass a bill na sensible enough to gain traction online at the same time, you know, actually have real progress. And I think yan lang yung mahirap at masakit siya kasi not a lot of bills are being passed right now na parang may essential research and groundwork. Kasi we're passing bills to gain traction online when it should have gained traction on the ground. And as it stands ngayon, I think the bill is gaining even more and more traction kasi signing the bill and ganyan, it's gaining more signatures. And at the end of the day, we'll see. If it's hindi naman kami makakapagdikta kung ano yung magiging output ng bill. Malay natin, it will change things around, turn the table upside down. But as it is right now, it really, to us, it lacks siguro parang yung framework and the structure of it. So, for you, Kelbs, what's the greatest criticism of the bill at the moment? Sige, there's so many things and so many discussions online, but if you could convince somebody to say basically that this bill is something else, let's just say something else, what would you say?
Honestly, I would say two things, but first I want to comment on that research thing. I saw the bill and I saw the researchers. The researchers were not citing the effectivity of these policies. There was not necessarily any discussion on, hey, is there any research where when you mitigate these sorts of or when you try to regulate these sorts of content, you're going to have a better mental health capacity or whatever? This does not exist. Most of the research topics that you see in the bill itself are just, hey, mental health is declining. There's a lot of people who who get bullied. So when you think about that, and a lot of these people get bullied, usually they try to retort, hey, we have the 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗔𝗥 bill. But the biggest criticism that I could think is, who do you run to? There's no one to run to in the 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗔𝗥 bill, especially since you don't necessarily know if you are protected in the 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗔𝗥 bill. For example, was there any protection when there were huge troll farms trying to dox and defame a lot of people who are in political opposition? Was there any like defamation or libel case against huge politicians using AI to try to deface a lot of other people who were actually like citizens, like people who were part of the masses? There was nothing like that, and we're not going to see any sort of protection coming from this as the masses anytime soon, because from what I said a while ago, libel and defamation are a rich man's game. We're not going to get benefits from something that we don't even have the resources to try to push through, as like suing someone or whatever. But then the second is, if not, who are you going to run to? What does this bill even mean? This bill does not necessarily mean a lot of things. If it's added as a provision, or if it's added as an amendment, quote unquote, to the Cyber Protection Act, how does it fall in line with the already existing policies? Does the Philippines actually have a proper policy or a proper agency to deal with these things? But then lastly, even if for some reason we're going to assume that everything is great and everything turns out well, then how about the common Filipino, the common mental health worker who doesn't have any sort of area to go to? Because, as you said, there's only 4 mental hospitals in this entire country. Where do they go to? Even if for some reason we have proper DOJ, proper DOH, where are we going to get the amount of infrastructure we need to house so many Filipinos that are dealing with mental health problems? Because mental health is not just like a very taboo issue, but it's also a very prevalent and pervasive one. Everyone deals with mental health, and everyone deals with something wrong. They need mental health, and they need mental health services to help them. So with 4 mental health hospitals, who's going to help us?
I think people would also justify that, oh, yung 4 mental hospitals na yan lang yung kilala. But just for the record, this is the official recorded number of mental hospitals natin, guys. And yes, well, we do agree that some local hospitals, public hospitals, do offer mental facilities, consultations. Iba ang sinasabi talaga natin na state-of-the-art facilities to cater to these needs. So when we say mental health, most people just say na, oh, sakit, ano lang yan, guni-guni, or even like it's just all in your head. You could only treat it, minsan nga, in a very, in a conservative country, there's also views and opinions na you could just pray it out. You could just literally pray it out. You could literally, it's just a few confessions and consultation. But the brain, like any other organ, is still an organ. Pag ikaw, nagkasakit ka internally, kahit pa hindi yan nagmamanifest sa iyo, o pag may sakit ka sa liver, meron talaga yan. It's the same organ that's being influenced and being affected. And we just don't see it. And maybe that's the sad case na it's not as siguro prominent na makikita mo yung symptoms as other diseases and illnesses. But it's still an illness. It's still something, a sickness that we should, diverse our resources, our attention to. But you've mentioned earlier and repeatedly, Cubs, na this is really a rich man's game. How do you think we could make it a poor man or a commoner's game?
The only way to make this a poor man or a commoner's game is to, number one, make sure that a lot of these people have access to public lawyers. Because this is a game of suing. You're going to sue people. That's the entire basis of the 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗔𝗥 bill and a lot of these libel and defamation cases. You need to sue people. How will marginalized individuals sue people if they don't necessarily have education in terms of the process of suing, in terms of the process of being able to put people into accountability? And whenever we do put people into accountability, for some reason, we just say that it's not part of the procedure forthwith or whatever. So forthwith. So for some reason, it's not only just a rich man's game. Like, even if we try to go against rich people, they're so protected. They're constantly protected by the masses because we can't find any fault in the people who constantly try to usurp and oppress us, especially since they keep giving us these performative statements like the 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢. So now we keep constantly praising them, and that's kind of sad. But also, just a little side note, I feel as if that although we are all victims, there is some sort of not necessarily like harm, but some sort of like a bit of hypocrisy as to how our culture deals with mental health. For example, we often say that we want to be able to uplift mental health services, but the moment they see someone who has autism, they kick them out of the house, they're roaming in the streets, call them crazy, even though we don't necessarily know what's going on. When you talk to them, they're pretty nice people, and you can even like share food with them or whatever, but for some reason, we don't have the capacity to deal and help with them the way that we're supposed to, because we don't have proper mental health facilities. If we actually wanted to uplift mental health, we want to look at the people we oppressed because of their mental health. We try to marginalize because of their mental health, not just to try to create some tokenistic bill that we can't necessarily implement so that we can look like we're the good people.
When I first looked at the bill, I saw it was 𝗟𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢𝗢, that the thing. This is not a dig on JV, but it's a dig on him being opportunistic. A very opportunistic individual with 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢 and his mother, and posting with the bill being filed. In any sense, it was really, to me, I'm sorry, it's really a publicity stunt. It's really a publicity stunt, because how could you do that? Literally, if you said that you've already did the research and stuff, how could you just file the bill 3 days later or a few days later after it already happened? You're piggybacking on the entire incident to basically propel your agenda and your own personal interests in the forefront of being at the helm of fighting for mental health and being a mental health advocate. And that's just sad. What's even sadder is Filipinos falling for it again and again. And I see the reactions. And, well, it's not really, ito na rin nakagawian or nakasanayan natin, but it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
It really shouldn't be. So, wow, it's a really enriching discussion. I would like to do this and with everyone else here in the room in the studio with you. But, well, it's time to wrap things up, unfortunately. But fortunate for us and the listeners, we were able to get some really, really massive insights about the 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢𝗢 bill.
So, ayan, ang ganda talaga ng palitan natin ngayon, no, Ali? Napaka-rich at napakadaming insights at experiences na pag-usapan ngayon.
Finally, we can totally agree on something. And sa ngayon, we just really want to thank Kelvin for the time and really for fitting us in your schedule. Na nalaman namin na apparently hindi mo nasaga sa aming schedule for today's recording. But thank you really for investing your time and your interest and also your knowledge. Extensive and massive knowledge on the issue. Thank you for sharing it with us and our listeners. It's a really special moment. And to answer siguro our very big question for today, is it really kindness or nonsense ang 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢𝗢? Well, ano sa tingin mo, Abby?
Well, at the end of the day, nasa mga tagapakinig na talaga yan. Ang mahalaga, we stay critical, we stay compassionate, at hindi tayo natatakot magtanong.
And exactly, that's basically what we really need to enforce. That culture of asking questions, that culture of not being afraid to not get answers as well. Kaya, bahala na talaga kayo, Mic Drop fans, to take the conversation further. But speaking about taking the conversation further, our Mic Drop fam here has taken the liberty to really interview people on the streets of what they think about the 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢𝗢 bill. And here's what they had to say.
So, first, yung 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢𝗢 bill, it's about yung online bullying and harassment act, no? So, actually, medyo weird lang siya na bill because why would you name a bill na kung saan, why would you pass a bill tapos yung nangyari sa kay 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢𝗢 is not even fresh pa siya masyado ba, tapos later on gagawa ka ng bill about that. Like, gets naman yung intention about the bill, like para ma-stop or like mabawasan man yung mga online bullying na nangyayari, pero like feel ko yung timing about the bill is just really wrong. Second is, weird din yung name rin ng bill itself kay 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗬𝗢𝗢𝗢. Like, it doesn't really consider the fact na it's a very, si Kuya Kim good kay siya yung parang only child lang ata iya si 𝗓𝗦𝗞𝗢𝗟𝗔𝗥 no, tapos namatay pa jud. So like 5 sila. Ay. Ayun nga, di ba youngest siya si Eman, right? So yun nga. Tapos like parang wala nila na consider na a bill about online bullying and harassment named after sa anak mo na namatay. Parang like parang wala nila na consider na what if pala kanang naka-affect like kanang iba yung tingin ni Kuya Kimba and his family about the bill. And then another point of contention din siguro kay ang bill kasi kay it should be a bill that should have been passed ever since the internet became mainstream like years ago. So like bakit ngayon lang sila nakapag-isip na maggawa ng bill to combat online bullying and harassment at a time na kung saan a famous person died. Parang ganun ba? Like, parang napakikita yung parang reactive government natin na kung saan na hindi sila gagalaw unless it kanang kanang tawag ana. Reactive sila in a way na hindi sila makilos unless it's kanang gina-call na good siya sa kadaghanan ng mga tao. I also want to point out na yung timing rin niya, it's also very opportunistic for the government to do that kasi in a government environment na kung saan nag-aaway na sila tapos like magpasa ka ng bill about 𝗓𝗦𝗞𝗢𝗏 parang it's kind of like giving kanang like hey guys, I made a bill, so like you should be proud of me for passing a bill like that, parang ganon. So yun, aking thoughts.
Although I think na magandang at intention niya po, pero I believe may existing bills na tayo na naga-forward pod o kanang stuff na related about mental health, and I think instead of kanang passing another bill tungod sa kaning nahitabo kay 𝗓𝗦𝗞𝗢𝗏, I think what we need is kanang reinforcement pod jud og like better nga i-strengthen ang ato ang kanang measures good, and sa like i-promote pod jud nga kanang i-forward good ang mga calls nato na kato i-prioritize, need po prioritize og ihatagan og kana importansya ang pag-talk about sa mental health. And kato I think maging lang siya, hindi kaayo siya fit, hindi man sa i-dili fit, pero like kaayo nga mag-create na po another bill tapos i-name sa kay 𝗓𝗦𝗞𝗢𝗏 sa maring ato need lang nato na kanang i-strengthen ang mga existing na bills kanang reinforcement kato.
Hello, good afternoon. I believe na okay man siya na bill, iyang iyang purpose kay to protect the young generation, but iyang nature man good kay very performative in a way na bakit ngayon lang siya gawa ng ganyan when something na may nangyari na. Pero how about parang siya like i-revamp na lang tong mga previous na mga bills o mga laws regarding mental health issues o regarding cyberbullying kay naman tay current nga kanang na pass na daan ng mga laws ba, pero why is it still rampant? So the problem is not in what is being passed, the problem is how are laws being implemented. So yun.
Well, that wraps it up, and what matters is they've already spoken, the people have spoken, we've already spoken. It's important really that we just keep our discussions alive in this studio and even beyond. And with that, maraming salamat sa pakikinig, everyone. This is Radio Iskolar, Voices in Motion.
Voices in Motion.
Where voices find direction.
Where stories create connection.
Connection that grows into action.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.
Voices in Motion.
nila. Hinto muna dilaw, maganda na pwede. Let's 1, 2, 3, go! Huwag mag-road rage ate kuya, batas trapiko, sundan barkay likas ng Huwag mag-road rage ate kuya, sa tamang kalsada dapat ton lang ang ruta. Huwag mag-road rage ate kuya, disiplina'y tagday para sa bawat sakay. Huwag mag-road rage ate kuya, susunod sa batas, maraming buhay ay maliligtas.
This segment is powered by 𝗓𝗓𝗓 School Management System. Smarter systems, smarter schools. Connect with 𝗓𝗓𝗓 at 𝗓𝗓𝗚𝗏𝗓, on Facebook at fb.com/online 𝗓𝗓𝗓, or email them at info@𝗓𝗓𝗚𝗏𝗓. Also brought to you by 𝗟𝗣𝗜𝗚𝗘, 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗓𝗘 Dormitory, The Cozy Cup Cafe, Mr. and Mrs. Nate Del Rosario Jr., Melvina Villasis, and Merle Don Acol. Special thanks to 𝗩𝗢𝗖𝗘, Precious Jane Denura, Jerome Montecalvo, Anakin Skywalker Pactores, Ernest Busalpa, Daphne Sara Simo, Worko Co-working and Study Cafe Davao, Chick Chiffon, and Rabbit Cosplay Shop. In partnership with Dugong Anthro, United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary District 1, Student Christian Movement of the Philippines UP Mindanao, UP Legal Studies Society, Ampli UP Mindanao, Kappa Epsilon Fraternity and Sorority UP Mindanao, UP Mindanao Communicators Guild, and the UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Maraming salamat dahil sa tuloy-tuloy ninyong suporta, tuloy-tuloy din ang kwento dito sa Radyo Iskolar. Voices in Motion.
Voices in motion.
Where voices find direction.
Where stories create connection.
Connection that grows into action.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening. You're listening to Radyo Iskolar.
Voices in motion. Are you ready to take your sound to the next level? Whether you're a singer, instrumentalist, producer, or someone who just loves music, Ampli is the stage you've been waiting for. Ampli is your musical home, a community that hones your talent, celebrates your passion, and connects with artists who share the rhythm. From live performances to workshops to collaborations and gigs, we're here to amplify you. So plug in, tune up, and let your music be heard. Join Ampli, loud vibes, all music.
Where voices find direction.
Where stories create connection.
Connection that grows into action.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening. You're listening to Radyo Iskolar.
Voices in motion. Magandang araw mga kachunay! You're tuned in to Radio Iskolar, Voices in Motion, and this is your TJ Jai. And welcome to Siyang Chunay, where real stories meet real sound. Today's playlist is full of indie feels, bedroom pop treasures, and a little bit of chaos just the way we like it. At syempre, bibigyan natin ng spotlight ang masigla at mapangahas na music scene ng Davao kung saan umaapaw ang talento, tapang at tunog ng walang takot na eksperimento. Ready na? Let's hit the road and let the music move us. Starting off with something soft, smoky, and a little haunting. 𝗓𝗣𝗢𝗘 have this way of turning emotions into echoes, parang sulat ng lumang notebook mo na hindi mo maitapon. Here's I Don't Know Why I Bite. And fun fact lang, ang bassist ng band na to is one of our DJs here in Qiang-Chunai. Shout out sa'yo, DJ Ella. And now, let's sink into the haze together. Radyo Iskolar.
But smoke is soften all the warmth I have. It's so dry to keep the fire on the cigarette light. I'm breathing sour. I am hated by my mother.
Wow, ang galing ng balance at ng dreamy aching, no? So fun fact, most of their early demos were recorded in their bedrooms lang, kaya ramdam mo talaga yung honesty, walang studio gloss. Alright, shifting gears. If the last song felt like floating, this one feels like dancing in your room habang walang nakatingin. This is Player 2, That's My Baby, Radyo Iskolar. Let's go!
She got a body like an animal, tripping all night. Yeah, can I strip you down, baby? Let me open your mind. Yeah, put this diamond on your finger. I'm gon' make you my wife. Yeah, it's like nobody's watching. Everybody's clapping. That's my baby. 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 That's my baby.
Yeah, shawty so thick like filet mignon. Got me shouting her name on a megaphone. She be working that ass on a Peloton. Popping bottles on a brunch down Perignon. She be smelling too good with a Joe Malone. Signature scent, no cheap cologne. Banging her line on a mobile phone. Got me singing these songs like Post Malone. Hey, when I hit it, can't quit it, I'll put you out. When I'm in it, dive in it and stretch you out. Ho, let me see it, go flown it and show it off. Ho, take your phone out and hide it and turn it off.
She got a body like an animal, tripping all night. Yeah, can I strip you down, baby? Let me open your mind. Yeah, put this diamond on your finger. I'm gon' make you my wife. Yeah, it's like nobody's watching. Everybody's clapping. That's my baby. 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 That's my baby.
Saturday night, get you feeling alright. Got the bottles on ice, got the red and the white. Got me high as a kite, got me living my life with the music so nice. For the turn of the lights, goddamn. Wanna get close to you, I just wanna go and build a home with you. Wanna lay down for the fire with you. Spend summer in June taking pics with you. Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, this feeling, can't fight it. I just can't fight it. Yeah, oh yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, this feeling, can't fight it. I just can't fight
She
it.
got a body like an animal, tripping all night. Yeah, can I strip you down, baby? Let me open your mind. Yeah, put this diamond on your finger. I'm gon' make you my wife. Yeah, it's like nobody's watching. Everybody's clapping. That's my baby. 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 Can you close your eyes? Imagine how our life could be. Can you close your eyes? Imagine how our life could be. Can you close your eyes? Imagine how our life could be. Can you close your eyes? Imagine how our life could be. She got a body like an animal, tripping all night. Yeah, can I strip you down, baby? Let me open your mind. Yeah, put this diamond on your finger. I'm gon' make you my wife. Yeah, it's like nobody's watching. Everybody's clapping. That's my baby. 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 That's my baby.
Diba? Ang clear talaga ng production ng Player 2. Okay. Sino ba dito ang mahilig sa anime soundbites? Kasi this next track, may Japanese pop influence flavor. This is Reese with Yamete, a song na nagpapatunay na ang OPM ngayon walang boundaries. Cute pero badass. Let's go, Radyo Iskolar.
Could perceive you as a tool to build up my
So from anime energy, let's slow the tempo down a bit with something indie and nostalgic. This band, Tuesday Trinkets, has that soft indie charm that feels like early morning walks or late night kwentuhan. Here's cigarettes, beer, and stray cats. Yes, aesthetic in title and ganun din yung sound. Let's go! Alright, kung trip nyo naman yung accidental love confession through playlist, this one's for you. Menhaven actually started by posting short clips on TikTok. Here's Hi Hello, that type of song na bet isend kapag di mo masay in person. Kaya I think time nyo na to para mag-confess. Radyo Iskolar.
It's my friend. that it will not get a little bit of cringe, baby. Never get to say this to anyone but you. So let me start this singing. So it starts with hi, hello. Maybe, baby, I can keep to myself, but I'm trying to keep the daylight shining on. Doesn't matter where you're looking, 'cause baby, beauty on your sides. Looking right and left, up and down. See angry faces dancing in the sky. Baby, I see it shines. Oh, the beauty picture of God is something that I don't want to take for granted. It starts with hello. Maybe, baby, I can keep to myself, but I'm trying to keep the daylight shining on. Doesn't matter where you're looking, 'cause baby, beauty on your sides. Looking right and left, up and down. Ta-da-ta, 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 ta-da-ta. So let me stop this singing. Tonight.
Sige na, add mo na yan sa playlist mo and send mo na kay crush. Okay mga kachunay, let's bring in some groove. This band, the Extracurriculars, is known for funky rhythms and smooth vocals. Fantasy is one of those tracks na automatic head bop talaga, no? Perfect pang hype sa umaga. What are you waiting for? Radyo Iskolar? Let's groove!
In color, got a spotlight on you. Every twist and turn is like a spell. All these girls, but you've got unmatched aura. I hope you see, baby, I mean well. As I see you from across the room, breathe the scent of your perfume. Get to. I don't wanna wait another day, another time to get your name, to make you mine. Never met someone that's fine. Put my hands around your waist, oh baby, let me get a taste. No, you can't blame a man for trying. Never met someone that's fine as you. Never met someone as fine as you. Never met someone as fine as you. Never met someone as fine as you. So fun, it's like you never had a sick day. When the work on the floor, soon as the DJ hit play. Caught the gaze of all these eggheads. Now they made it the mission to get laid. Fatty New Year. I know that you're used to attention. How to get through ya? commotion, but I see a man approaching you. Take your hand and leave the room. What's a man supposed to do? I wanna get to you. Now I can get to you. I don't wanna wait another day, another time to get your name, to make it mine. Never met someone that's fine. Put my hands around your waist, oh baby, let me get a taste. No, you can blame a man for trying. Never met someone that's fine as you. Never met someone as fine as you. Never met someone as fine as you. Never met someone as fine as you.
Groove ka sa last song. Eto, pambalansi muna. Low-key hug in a song form. Yung, uy, okay ka pa ba vibes?
Hello?
Ganon. Simple line, solid hit. And love says, mahalaga ka. Period. This is Radyo Iskolar.
Paniwala sa ilang taon na ako'y umaasa. Sinong mag-akala tayo ang kinadhana, kahit na nakakapagtaka kung paano ko pa hinaya na maghintay na kay tagal. Lagi kitang pinagdarasan dahil sa'yo ang buhay ko'y may ligaya. Ikaw sa akin mahalaga. Huwag mag-alala, aking pagsinta di malalanta. Habang buhay na, di mo kailangan magbago. Tatanggapin kita buong buo, kahit pa sa ating pagtanda.
And that wraps up today's playlist here on Radyo Iskolar Voices in Motion. Salamat sa pakikinig mga kachunay, where real stories meet real sound. This has been your DJ Jai, keeping you company through every mood. Stay hydrated, stay inspired, and remember your story is always in motion. We'll be right back after a short break.
Sa unang hakbang pa lamang, dapat may sandigan ka. Kaya para sa mga bagong eskolar ng bayan, gabay ninyo ang UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Sa dalang paninindigan na tumuklas, lumakbay, pagsilbihan ang masa. Patuloy na isinusulong ng CFS ang boses at kapakanan ng kanilang kapwa estudyante, mula unang araw hanggang sa bawat pagsubok. Ngayong Disyembre, abangan ang nag-aapoy na selebrasyon ng pagkakaisa at kultura. Kasadya 2025, ngayong December 5 na. At kasabay nito, magbubukas ang pintuan ng oportunidad para sa mga handang magsilbi. CFS Volcorps Recruitment. Abangan, makiisa at patuloy na manilbihan sa bayan. Ito ang Council of Freshie Students. Para sa eskolar, para sa bayan.
What's up, mga kachilay? This is DJ Jai. Welcome back to Shangchingnai, where real stories meet real sound, here on 𝗘𝗣𝗓𝗘. It's a beautiful day at grabe ang energy natin ngayon dahil we have a very special guest in studio. He's a self-produced artist, has taken his music from the Philippines to the stages in Tokyo and Indonesia. I bet you've seen him or read him on Billboard Philippines, and you've heard his genre-blending tracks and Spotify playlists across Asia. He's performed at 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, toured internationally, and fresh off his 2025 Meeting Up Tour. Welcome to the studio, Sir 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a great time to be here.
Sir, kamusta, sir? Pagpaadra mo di, sir, di ba traffic?
Init kayo siguro?
Kamusta? Init kayo? Kanusta ang last ni mong ato diri sa UP Mindanao, sir?
Bago-bago lang po. It was what? Was it April for the Sari Festival? Yeah. It was a great time. So it wasn't too far off to that. Yeah.
Okay, ready na ba kayo, sir, na simulan tong kwentuhan natin na yon today?
Alright, yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's get into it. Grabe, gusto namin makilala ka pa ng lubusan, sir. Paano man singlan mo, love mo for music? Did you grow up with singing, or was there any specific moment na na-realize mo, maybe I want to be a music artist?
Well, for me, I started in my room, grade 5, on my keyboard sa balay, but wala nagagamit good. And then I figured, hey, maybe I should try and play. Then I figured out chords. Then pag-abot sa college, I don't know what made me want to do it, because I started writing songs in 2012. First in my room, then in my boarding house room sa college at UP. Then it took me from there, I joined Ampli. And then I started playing small shows. And from college, it's where I started slowly thinking at the time, hey, maybe I can actually do this. Maybe I can do this beyond graduating. So here we are.
Nice. Very, very inspiring, no? So, going back to the experiences you since you said na nag-join ka ng Ampli, sir, right? Was there any projects na nagawa mo sa Ampli nga na-produce talaga sa, or like, katik lang siya sa own mo na computer?
Well, when I joined, bago lang na-release to Ampli na album. So, sayang, wala man nasunod. But during my time in Ampli, I wrote more songs and I started playing them in front of people sa school events. Like, so we had TVN's Day. Nice, it's such a long time. I don't remember the event names. Basta dito si kayo ko sa atrium.
So, nakatay na po ka sulat for other people, sir? Like, nag-pay sila for you, like, to write them a song, or like for a movie, a film, or like a compose or anything?
Yes. I've been asked before to produce music for another artist. Tapos, and another project, naanang beat, but then I wrote the melody and lyrics, and then I sang over it. Then during another project, I wrote a jingle. So, like nung pala ako na-try.
Say process ana sir, like you said na naka sulat ka og jingle, like say like step by step process ana.
Well, inay difference ang jingle writing and writing for an artist. So when you're writing for music as release artist, kay you think of like how do you get the message of the artist across. Pero when you're writing a jingle, kay kanang example gi-commission ka, you have to think of how does your jingle align with the client's branding. So yeah, it's actually two different parts of the brain, or like two different mindsets when you work with either the art or for the jingle.
Okay. So, di ba nasabi mo sir na nag-perform na ka for Ampli, was there like anytime na stage fright ka, nakalimut ka sa lyrics, or mamali ang imuhang tono, or namali ko pag sa calls, like di na obvious kung pag-overcome or naanad na lang ka?
I think in parts, like actual parts in a stage fright could probably be the first time na acoustic performance, really literally my first time on stage na mo share kanta kato. And then the first time na I performed with a band in my life. So kato those times after kay naman naka-adjustment, and if ever there was like stuff that happens on stage, like you forget the lyrics, forget the chords, my technical difficulties, I just learned to roll with it. Okay, at the end of the day, music's all about having fun.
Yes. So was there like any like favorite collaboration na experience mo sa imuhang stay here sa UP Mindanao, especially sa Ampli sir?
Ampli, a lot to mention, pero katong mga jam sessions with the org mates, I mean, beyond katong mga brainstorming about songwriting ideas, and then beyond Ampli actually, kay kato my college friends would get very musically inclined sila, like they weren't part of Ampli pero part po sila pirmi sa mga lineup sa mga gigs dire.
Na-remember you ang imong first ever show outside the campus po?
Yeah.
Like a gig?
I think it was my first ever show outside the campus was NCCC Mall. A long time ago. Yeah, na-event ang Abe at that mall at the time. Tapos hila po nila to sing. And I don't really, at the time, I didn't really do those types of things. Kay layo man akong ginatugtog with like what quiz bowl audience spots.
Buksa, nag-perform ka sa imong original sir, or like cover yun?
Cover po. And it was a sad cover in a happy mall. But you could figure out how that went.
Okay. Great experience pa rin, sir. You know, very inspiring, no? Pero alam naman natin na hindi laging madala ang buhay ng musikero. Especially like in this industry right now. So, ano yung masasabi mo na like biggest challenge mo na na-experience or na-experience, sir? Tapos like, gusto mo siya mag-overcome?
Well, for me, ang biggest challenge would be medyo dugay-dugay naman ko in this industry. Would be staying true to yourself, like, and never, or trying to avoid doubting yourself, because you know what, when you're new as an artist, I've seen it also around the industry. When a new hype band comes out, the audience will be so super supportive, like the new thing, the new artist, like with all the fancy photos. But then when you hit 3 years, 5 years, you released your 8th single, the new kid hype isn't there anymore, so you have to find a way to sustain it. So the challenge would be thinking when you release or create music, like, do I stay with what I love, or do I chase what's trendy because it will get more people but I'm not as happy? So kato, especially when you, like, I know sa UP it's like younger artists, pero as they go along they're going to have to deal with that like 10 years later, 9 years later.
So, the place nakita ko sa social media, no? Like, nari ka from, a tour in Japan. So, how's the experience, sir?
Dream come true. Because, first thing is, like, when I started writing songs in my room in 2012, tapos I started producing, like, learning how to make beats maybe 2015. If you told younger me that someday I would play my original songs, like not be a sessionista or keyboardista for another band, but like my actual songs in another country with a local lineup na kanang Japanese, with a mga fully Japanese po ng lineup, I wouldn't believe you, but it happened, and with the help of a lot of people around me, in Dream Team too. So it was eye-opening siya, and murag dagan ko natunan po dito, so to take home with me and hopefully share my experiences with local artists here, and maybe in the future sila na po.
Is there like a Filipino community na support sa inyo dito, sir?
There was I wouldn't call like Filipino community, but I had friends there who watched them. Yes, so they were there, and there was another prod. There was another a Filipino prod that specializes in bringing Filipino artists to Japan for Filipino audiences. They were supportive, and they did say next time you come back, maybe we can work. Yeah, Janagid.
Diba, nakaka-believe you to dedication in Sir RV talaga. So, now, let's talk about the process, sir. Kasi na bisihan yung status, or like, yaaba pa yung bagong song yung naluto, or like, yung album, or upcoming gigs, sa Davao, or other places.
Well, upcoming gigs, I'm currently, after the tour, nakatong Japan was like over a year in the making. So finally, na pull off na. I'm actually on a break. So since I got back, I've been on a break from gigs. But in terms of new music, I'm sure if you watch some of the recent gigs, or if anyone's watched some of the recent gigs, we've been playing unreleased songs for a long time, like starting this year, sir. So there's been a couple. When we get the time, and like when I come off from my hibernation break, we'll see. Hopefully, ma-record na namo upon. So yeah.
Okay, nasabi mo kanina, sir, na 1 year you process tour mo sa Japan. So can you tell us about that process?
Well, started with a long shot idea. One time I gathered after a good gig, like I gathered, and it was near the end of the year, and then I gathered my bandmates, and I got the people who support the music. I gathered them, and then I went like, I know it sounds crazy, but what if we perform in Tokyo next year? I know it sounds difficult, very difficult, but maybe we can pull it off. Then and then from there, from the big dream, we started thinking of the smaller ideas we'd meet about what to do, like 1 year before, 10 months before, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Are there any people na like to thank po?
Yeah, specifically, I'd like to thank 𝗘𝗣𝗓𝗘 Productions. They've been so supportive of my music since they first met me, I think around 2017, and then they helped me. They helped organize the fundraiser tour for Japan, and then they guided me with advice on what I could possibly do while I'm there. Because when I went to Tokyo, I was alone. Yeah, so I imagine I'm walking around Tokyo with all my gear, then catching all the trains by myself, signing papers by myself. So
since naka-add na ka dito sa international stage, say like cultural differences between like international artists or like Pinoy artists, like
I've been to 3. So I've been to 2 countries outside, Indonesia and Japan. Indonesia, I was there to learn and perform their ethnic music and dance. I spent 2.5 months in Indonesia. So Banyuwangi, it's like East Java.
is that your workshop, sir?
Yeah, it's organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs ng Indonesia. It's called the Indonesian Arts and Culture Scholarship Program 2023. Tapos 𝗢𝗢𝗡 Pinoy actually. So we learned their art, we learned their culture, we lived in Indonesia for 2 months. So ang mapansin dito was they are so supportive of their local ethnic arts. Na they have this thing called like they have this unit of society, yes, or like an organization called a Samgar, or an art center, where they study, where kids are taught from a young age the ethnic dance and music na local sa ilang culture. and then they grew up doing it. Every nasa mga practice. So like there's so many, there are thousands at Sangars across Indonesia, which is impressive, like amazing for me as a Pinoy, because they loved yung from a young age pa naman they love spreading their local culture, and they're proud of it. Na many of the musicians I met, they've gone to France, they've gone to Paris, they've gone to the Netherlands, I think they've gone to America, performing their own local music, ethnic music. And then now for Japan, when I went there, what struck me the most is how organized they are. Organized in the sense that when you get there, they'll ask you what's every song in your set list, and then what genre is every song, and then do you have any special lighting instructions for every song. Yeah, and then at the same time, a supportive pod kayo sila about like different styles of music. Actually, all of them are, pero mga napansin ako sa Japan music scene, so they're supportive of visiting artists, and they're proud of their own art.
Nice. So, balik sa tabi kami sa Davao, sir. So, ano sa thoughts mo sa music scene dito sa Davao, sir?
Well, layo na kayo siya compared to when I started out. You've got artists doing well sa Manila. You've got artists who are here, but they go to cities outside to perform and come back. Pansin na po sa rest of the country, and then some of them are doing great things with artists abroad. But so it's matured, and I like that there's a lot of room na for the I don't know, are we recurrent yet? I don't know, but there's a lot of room for the artists who've been around, and then there's also still room. There's a lot of room for younger artists, and for me, ang favorite thing nako about the Davao scene is everyone, at least in my circle, or like the things I've seen, all the artists are supportive of each other. Parang dili nga na siya kanang competitive or crab mentality. Yeah.
Your family. So, what's yung ma-advise mo sa like coming artist dito sa Davao, sir? Like, gusto siyang mag-pursue music.
Which sounds cliche at this point, pero as cliche as it sounds, important to get, like, believe in yourself. So you don't know where your art will take you. Like me, and I thought music was gonna be a thing that I'd drop after I graduate, but here I am talking to you about playing in Tokyo. So keep believing in your art. Tapos, if you want feedback, keep your circle small. Like, only have a few people that you really trust, that you want to hear unfiltered opinions from, because when you're in arts, you will hear a lot of unsolicited opinions, and it's important that you know which advice you can apply to yourself, and which ones are like, thank you for saying that, but it doesn't really work for me.
Okay. A curious question, sir. Like, what's your inspiration like behind your music, like your songs?
Well, inspiration nako would be generally life experiences nako, and life experiences of other people around me, or things that I've read. So,
How about love life, sir?
Yeah, I mean, no. Love life, that would be a big up in the air. That can be other people, So things. Let's just say observations on love.
So, another question, sir. Like, favorite OPM artist po? Like, at least top 5.
Top 5 would probably be, from my time, would be Rico Blanco, Eraserheads. Tapos, maybe they've influenced my music too. Tapos, sa mga bagpo or like newer wave would be Forbes Spades. What else? Forbes Spades, and then Zild's solo work. Yeah, and then probably Glock 9.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Ayan guys. Sir, maraming salamat sa pagbisita sa 𝗙𝗡-𝗢𝗎. We really appreciate your time and sharing your music with us. So, any final message for your supporters po bago tayo magpaalam?
Well, thank you for being with me through all the years. I wouldn't have made it outside. I wouldn't have kept making music if nobody listened or gave me a chance. So, thank you for supporting me, and I hope na makasabay gyapon ta through many years in the future. So, thank Thanks again, guys.
Okay, thank
guys
you, sir. And to close today's show, we're leaving you with a vibe from 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 himself. After that fun chat, it's only fitting we end with one of his catchy feel-good tracks. Here's Dance Alone. Go on, don't be shy. It's okay to group a little. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you for tuning in. This has been your DJ Jai. Nagpapaalala, support local. Love local. This is Radio Iskolar. Voices in motion.
tell me all I need. Living's most important key, learning to be happy. Hey, don't worry about me, cause you tell me all I need. Living's most important key, learning to be happy. Though you found the great beyond, the memories keep us close. Until we finally meet again, I'll have to dance alone. Though you found the great beyond, the memories keep us close. Until we finally meet again, I'll have to dance alone. Though you found the great beyond, the memories keep us close. Until we finally meet again, I'll have to dance alone.
You had to shine from up above, that's why you couldn't stay. Voices in motion.
Where voices find direction.
Where stories create connection.
Connection that grows into action.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening. You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.
Voices in motion.
This segment is powered by Grado School Management System. Smarter systems, smarter schools. Connect with Grado at 𝗔𝗓𝗘𝗏, on Facebook at fb.com/onlinegrado, or email them at info@𝗔𝗓𝗘𝗏. Also brought to you by 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗘, 𝗔𝗔𝗑𝗪𝗔 Dormitory, the Cozy Cup Cafe, Mr. and Mrs. Nate Del Rosario Jr., Melvina Villasis, and Merle Don Acol. Special thanks to 𝗓𝗢𝗖𝗘, Precious Jane Denura, Jerome Montecalvo, Anakin Skywalker Pactores, Ernest Busalpa, Daphne Sara Simo, Worko Co-working and Study Cafe Davao, Chick Chiffon, and Rabbit Cosplay Shop. In partnership with Dugong Anthro, United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary District 1, Student Christian Movement of the Philippines UP Mindanao, UP Legal Studies Society, Ampli UP Mindanao, Kappa Epsilon Fraternity and Sorority UP Mindanao, UP Mindanao Communicators Guild, and the UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Maraming salamat dahil sa tuloy-tuloy ninyong suporta, tuloy-tuloy din ang kwento dito sa Radyo Iskolar. Voices in Motion.
Wala, hinto muna dilaw, maganda na pwede. Let's 1, 2, 3, go! Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, batas trapiko, sundan to'y kay likas ng Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, sa tamang kalsada dapat ton lang ang ruta. Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, disiplina'y tagtay para sa bawat sakay. Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, susunod sa batas, maraming buhay ay maliligtas.
Voices in motion.
Where voices find direction.
Where stories create connection.
Connection that grows into action.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.
Voices in motion.
Gikan sa istasyong nagatindog sa kamatuoran.
Gatubag sa tawag sa katawhan.
Balitang presko.
Balitang sakto.
Serbisyong publiko.
DXUP Radio Iskolar.
Voices in Motion. Para sa mga balita karong adlaw, UP Mindanao Department of Architecture nagpasidungog sa Pilipinas sa 58th ASA Conference.
Tulo ka persons of interest ang nailhan nga posibleng nalambigit sa pagpatay sa estudyante sa General Santos City.
Marcos, nagpahibalo nga mugawas karong simana ang warrant of arrest batok ni Sara Diskaya o guban pa sa flood control controversy. Maayong hapon mga higala, ako si Zen Hornales.
Ug ako si 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗙𝗘, ang inyong kauban para maghatag og impormasyong tinaw, presko ug klaro serbisyong publiko. Diri lamang sa
DXUP Radio Iskolar. Para sa unod sa atong mga balita, sa Balitang Campus, UP Mindanao Department of Architecture nagpasidungog sa Pilipinas sa 58th ASA Conference. Elijah Del Rosario para sa balita.
Garbo nga gipasundayag sa UP Mindanao Department of Architecture ang ilang mga delegado nga nirepresentar sa ilang research sa 58th Architectural Science Association Conference nga gipahigayon sa University of Melbourne, Australia niadtong Disyembre 3 hangtod sa petsa 5. Gipakita sa mga representante ang ilang mga pagtuon bahin sa sustainable design, built environment studies ug mga inobatibong pamaagi sa arkitektura. Sa samang kalihukan, nakahimamat usab nila si Richard Hyde sa Architectural Science Association ug Passive Low Energy Architecture nga naghatag og dugang oportunidad para sa akademikong koneksyon ug international nga kolaborasyon. Para sa Balitang Campus, Elijah Del Rosario, Voice in Motion.
Para sa balitang lokal,
Gitumbok sa kapulisan sa General Santos City ang tulo ka persons of interest sa kamatayon sa 21 anyos nga estudyante sa Mindanao State University nga naabtang patay sulod sa iyang balay sa Barangay Apupong niadtong Lunes sa buntag. Gikumpirma ni City Police Director Police Colonel 𝗘𝗣𝗓𝗘𝗚𝗢𝗓 Jr. nga tulo ka individual ang ilang ginatan-aw na persons of interest. Apan wala pa gitug-an ang mga ngalan samtang nagpaabot pa sila og dugang pang-impormasyon. Gi-interview usab sa kapulisan ang pamilya sa biktima, lakip ang ginikanan samtang gisubay ang isyu sa nawala nga salapi nga posibleng konektado sa krimen. Ang insidente nagbilin og kasubo ug kabalaka sa komunidad samtang nagpadayon ang panawagan alang sa hustisya.
Para sa Balitang Nasyonal, nagpahibalo si President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. atong Martes nga posibleng ipagawas karong simanaha ang warrant of arrest batok sa mga giakusar sa dagkong korupsyon sa flood control projects, lakip ang kontrobersyal nga kontraktor nga si Sara Diskaya. Sa iyang video message, giingon sa presidente nga ang pagdakop kaniya posibleng dili na magdugay. Gipahayag usab ni Marcos nga 8 ka personal sa DPWH Davao Occidental ang nagpadala na og surrender feelers ngadto sa NBI samtang nagpadayon ng investigasyon. Mipasalig si President Marcos nga padayon ang kaso bahin sa kwarta sa publiko na ibalik kini sa mga Pilipino.
Para sa sunod na mga balita, Thailand nagpaulan og airstrikes ubay sa gilalisan nga utlanan sa Cambodia.
POC President Tolentino masaligon nga mabawi sa gilas Pilipinas ang corona sa SEA Games 2025.
Melay Cantiveros nahangulong sa emosyon sa paglunsad sa Season 4 sa Kuan on 1.
Kana ug uban pa sa pagbalik sa DXUP Radyo Iskolar pagkahuman sa pipila ka pahinumdum.
Hinto mo na dilaw, maganda na pwede. Let's 1, 2, 3, go! Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, batas trapiko, sundan to'y kay likas ng Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, sa tamang kalsada dapat to lang ang ruta. Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, disiplina'y tagday para sa bawat sakay. Huwag mag-road rage at kuya, susunod sa batas, maraming buhay ay maliligtas.
Kapatiran ang tanging layunin ng bawat isa at sa 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗘 serbisyo sa mamamayan ang kanilang pangunahing ginagawa. Nakita ang 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗘 ngayong semestre sa mga naturang events tulad ng natapos lamang na Iskolar 2025. Partnership with Philippine Eagle Foundation at Ecostride 2025. Abangan ang kanilang upcoming event this February 2026 sa kanilang taunang documentary. So if you have a passion in arts, watch out!
This segment is powered by Grado School Management System. Smarter systems, smarter schools. Connect with Grado at 𝗔𝗓𝗘𝗏, on Facebook at fb.com/onlinegrado, or email them at info@𝗔𝗓𝗘𝗏. Also brought to you by 𝗔𝗣𝗓𝗘, 𝗓𝗤𝗡𝗅 Dormitory, The Cozy Cup Cafe, Mr. and Mrs. Nate Del Rosario Jr., Melvina Villasis, and Merle Don Acol. Special thanks to Lovesa Regla, Precious Jane Denura, Jerome Montecalvo, Anakin Skywalker Pactores, Ernest Busalpa, Daphne Sara Simo, Worko Co-working and Study Cafe Davao, Chick Chiffon, and Rabbit Cosplay Shop. In partnership with Dugong Anthro, United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary District 1, Student Christian Movement of the Philippines UP Mindanao, UP Legal Studies Society, Ampli UP Mindanao, Kappa Epsilon Fraternity and Sorority UP Mindanao, UP Mindanao Communicators Guild, and the UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Maraming salamat dahil sa tuloy-tuloy ninyong suporta. Tuloy-tuloy din ang kwento dito sa Radyo Iskolar. Voices in Motion. Sa unang hakbang pa lamang, dapat may sandigan ka. Kaya para sa mga bagong iskolar ng bayan, gabay ninyo ang UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Sa dalang paninindigan na tumuklas, lumakbay, pagsilbihan ang masa. Patuloy na isinusulong ng CFS ang boses at kapakanan ng kanilang kapwa estudyante mula unang araw hanggang sa bawat pagsubok. Ngayong Disyembre, abangan ang nag-aapoy na selebrasyon ng pagkakaisa at kultura. 𝗘𝗣𝗓𝗘 2025, ngayong December 5 na. At kasabay nito, magbubukas ang pintuan ng oportunidad para sa mga handang magsilbi. CFS 𝗙𝗡𝗎𝗏 Recruitment. Abangan, makiisa at patuloy na manilbihan sa bayan. Ito ang Council of Freshie Students. Para sa iskolar, para sa bayan.
Hindi lamang galing sa arkitektura ang hatid ng UP sa District 1. Sila rin ay concerned sa ating kalikasan. Sa darating na ika-6 ng Disyembre, samahan sila sa Philippine Eagle Center at makibilang sa mga activities na naglalayong panatilihin ang kagandahan ng ating kapaligiran. Sa muli December 6, 2025, sa Philippine Eagle Center. Kita-kits mga kasama!
Are you ready to take your sound to the next level? Whether you're a singer, instrumentalist, producer, or someone who just loves music, 𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗘 is the stage you've been waiting for. 𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗘 is your musical home, a community that hones your talent, celebrates your passion, and connects with artists who share the rhythm. From live performances to workshops to collaborations and gigs, we're here to amplify you. So plug in, tune up, and let your music be heard. Join 𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗘, loud vibes, all music.
In every story told, in every message delivered, there is a communicator behind it. For all BA Communication and Media Arts students, your home org is here to amplify your voice, where we also serve, inspire, and excel. From media production and creative services to media partnerships and publicity support, and even communication and media training and workshops, ComGuild is your partner in shaping stories that move, inform, and inspire. And this year, gear up for the biggest arena of youthful brilliance. Speak Up, the Regional Inter-High School Public Speaking and Media Arts Competition. A celebration of voices, vision, and the future of communication. For every BACMA student, for every storyteller in the making, your journey starts here. This message is brought to you by the UP Mindanao Communicators Guild.
Nagbabalik na ang Pagsubang Student Research Paper Conference at Deviance Day, hatid sa inyo ng Dugong Antro. Kita-kits tayo sa diskursong mapagpalaya. Lagit-lagi, fund the humanities and social sciences, teorya at praktika para sa bayan at sangkatauhan.
Kamo nagabalik sa DXUP Radyo Iskolar. Ug atong ipadayon ang atong pagtuki sa mga naunang balita. Thailand, nagpaulan og airstrikes ubay sa gilalisan nga utlanan sa Cambodia.
Nagpaulan og airstrikes ang Thailand batok sa border sa Cambodia. Atong Lunes, human magbinayluay og akusasyon ang duha ka nasod sa paglapas sa ilang ceasefire agreement nga gitungdan ni US President Donald Trump. Usa ka Thai soldier ang namatay ug upat ang samaran sa bagong engkwentro nga nahitabo palibot sa duha ka mga lugar sa easternmost province sa Ubon Ratchathani. Sumala pa sa Cambodia, Thailand ang naunang miatake sa duha ka lokasyon apan ilang gipasukad nga wala sila mobalos. Ang tensyon misugod balik human ang landmine blast ni adtong miaging bulan ug karon kapin 385,000 ka Thai civilians na ang gipa-evacuate.
Melay Cativeros nahangulong sa emosyon sa paglunsad sa Season 4 sa Kuan on 1. Para sa Press Con Chika, ichika mo na! Chika Dora! Dili mapugnan ang kahilakon ni Melay Cantivero sa press conference sa iyang show ङ्akuan on 1. Human hisguti ang pag-abot ni ini sa ikaupat nga season. Gipaambit ni Melay ang daghang pagsulay ug mga kalampusan nga giagian sa show sukad sa pagsugod ug busa paniya, wadyod niya damha nga mulungtad kini ug ingon ani kadugay. Sa usa ka interview, nitug-an sab si Melay nga lahigyud ang iyang nabatian nga kahadlok ug kalisod isip usa ka Bisaya nga nisugal sa buhay Maynila. Sa umaabot nga season 4, mas daghang kalingawan pa ang mahimong paabuton sa mga kuanizens, ilabi na karong Christmas season. Para sa mga preskong chika, ako ang inyong chikadora, Aiki Jo Espiritu, Voice in Motion.
Balitang Sports. POC President Tolentino masaligon nga mabawi sa Gilas Pilipinas ang corona sa SEA Games 2025.
Napabiling masaligon si Philippine Olympic Committee o POC President Abraham Tolentino na kaya gihapon sa Gilas Pilipinas nga mabawi ang ilang korona sa SEA Games 2025. Human siya gi-interview sa Grand Four Wings Hotel sa Bangkok, Thailand. Buot mabaw-an nga gibabagan sa Thai organizers ang pag-apil sa mga naturalized players sa Gilas Pilipinas sama nila Justin Brownlee, Brandon Ganuelas-Rosser ug Lasal big man Michael Phillips nga dako untang tabang sa lineup. Tungod ni ini, ang kasamtangang komposisyon sa Gilas Pilipinas naglangkob na lamang nila 𝗘𝗣𝗘𝗘, Matthew Wright, Bobby Ray Parks Jr., Jamie Malonzo, Von Fesumal, Robert Bolick, Justin Chua, Dal Panopio, Abyu Trater, Alan Bryant Liwag, VJ Pre ug Cedric Manzano. Gilauman nga makig-atbang ang Gilas Pilipinas sa Malaysia karong umaabot nga semana sa Nimbater Stadium ug sa sunod Lunes mao ilang duwa kontra Vietnam.
Ug mao kini ang mga balita karong adlaw.
Salamat sa pagpabilin uban kanamo.
Ako si Zen Hornales
ug ako ang inyong kauban, 𝗘𝗣𝗘𝗘.
Dili lamang sa istasyong nagatindog sa kamatuoran.
Istasyong nagatubag sa tawag sa katawhan.
Kini ang DXUP Radyo Iskolar, Voices in Motion.
This segment is powered by Grado School Management System. Smarter systems, smarter schools. Connect with Grado at 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗘, on Facebook at fb.com/onlinegrado, or email them at info@𝗓𝗓𝗘. Also brought to you by 𝗟𝗜𝗓𝗘𝗘, 𝗓𝗡𝗣𝗓𝗘𝗘, Dormitory, The Cozy Cup Cafe, Mr. and Mrs. Nate Del Rosario Jr., Melvina Villasis, and Merle Don Acol. Special thanks to 𝗍𝗢𝗘𝗓𝗏, Precious Jane Denura, Jerome Montecalvo, Anakin Skywalker Pactores, Ernest Busalpa, Daphne Sara Simo, Worko Co-working and Study Cafe Davao, Chick Chiffon, and Rabbit Cosplay Shop. In partnership with Dugong Anthro, United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary District 1, Student Christian Movement of the Philippines UP Mindanao, UP Legal Studies Society, Ampli UP Mindanao, Kappa Epsilon Fraternity and Sorority UP Mindanao, UP Mindanao Communicators Guild, and the UP Mindanao Council of Freshie Students. Maraming salamat. Dahil sa tuloy-tuloy ninyong suporta, tuloy-tuloy din ang kwento dito sa Radyo Iskolar. Voices in Motion.
Voices in Motion.
Where voices find direction.
Where stories create connection.
Connection that grows into action.
Signals that cut through motion.
You're listening. You're listening to Radio Iskolar.